guest. Riley, big welcome to the broadcast today, and there's some pretty beautiful conditions for footy this afternoon.
Yes, it is. Thank you, Hannah. Lovely to be here. It's 22 degrees and a bit of a breeze blowing towards us in the comm box here. Aspley are kicking to the right of screen here, and as you said, big day, spot in a grand final on the line. I think with this qualifying final, both sides had the week off last week, so they'll be fresh and ready to go. These first 10 minutes could be a real red-hot contest before they'll settle in. Both sides will want to settle in to their style of play.
2 times they've met this year. Round 8, Aspley defeated Redland-Victoria Point 81-51. And again in round 20, so not too far ago in the scheme of things, Aspley again defeated the Sharks 118-63. But the big factor in that big loss to the Sharks is that powerhouse forward Matt Hamilman was out. Now, he comes in as the Sharks' leading goal kicker on 90 goals. And for Aspley, it's Connor Stackelberg on 70. Plenty of big players, both sides. Riley, who kind of stands out for you as someone to watch, a couple of players this game?
Well, I think as you just mentioned, both forwards, they're going to be the number one linchpins up forward for their side, so they're going to be very important. I think almost their defensive matchups. Not that we know who's going where exactly yet, but just a bit of pre-match research, I suppose. Perhaps Lockie Rayner of Aspley will go to Matt Hamilman, and then up the other end, Mitch Stallard potentially will go to Connor Stackelberg, and that might free Adrian Williams up. I think in the middle, whether Cohen Harker gets a tag or goes to tag Brock Aston as well will be very important. And then how well Redland-Victoria Point can negate Will Wobblers and Jono Freeman in the ruck. I think Aspley will be looking to get first touch or first usage of the ball. So if the Sharks can negate that ruck dominance of Aspley, that might go some way to giving them a bit more control in the middle.
Yeah, not wrong to assume that Will Wobblers will be dominant. He's been the standout ruck for me personally this season. Ruck of the year last year as well. So he'll be hard to stop either way. I guess it's exactly what you said, like how can they impact in other ways? And interesting, you mentioned Lockie Rayner. Well, he's come in for the side. James Nealis and Lachlan Sherwood have gone down to play the reserves for Aspley. But Lockie Rayner, brother to Cam Rayner in the Lions, and he actually has been in and out of the side playing a little bit of VFL with Brisbane, but he has not made that team to play VFL this weekend. So that's why we get him in the QAFL. So he'll be a big presence, but I guess, come finals, I guess, those little ins and outs, be interesting to see how that affects the overall flow of the team.
Especially with Matthew Payne, I think he's the other end for Aspley this weekend as well.
Yeah, huge. Now, our broadcast team today, Double Take Sports, and we're live from the AFL Queensland YouTube channel. And our umpires brought to you by Bradnam's Windows and Doors. They are Jake Edgar, Josh Weekley, and Sam Bridges. On the boundary, Nicholas Mabb, Andrew Leach, and Andrew Reddle. And on the goals, Caleb Fidge and Hudson Tolley. So just moments to go before this one begins. Spot in the grand final is on the cards here.
Harker's gone straight to Brock Aston. The 2 number 33s in the right for the Sharks, Jared Hudley and Aspley Will Wobblers. Going to take me a bit of a while to get that name right. Siren goes, umpire's got the ball. We are all set to start in this qualifying final. The bounce there. No rucks really get a hand to it, and Wobblers was away. Don't think he had the idea of starting the game like that, but the umpires recalled the bounce. He's going to throw it up this time. Perfect throw. Wobblers hand down. And now fumbles the ball there. Chance to get the clearance. Jumped on the ball there. Aston lays the tackle, ball up. Captain for Aspley, Brandon Batchelor, down at ground level. Wobblers, this time with the clearance, just blindly hand passes forward, ends up in the path of a teammate, kicks it inside forward 50, looking for Stackelberg. Ball goes over the top of both players. Out towards the boundary line. And Adrian Williams, happy to see that one out. Looks like Stallard has gone to Stackelberg. Ball tossed back in short. Ruben Williams soccers it out of the defence 50, taken high there. It's going to be Reece Toy, just outside his forward 50.
Bit of argy-bargy off the ball there.
Expect a lot of feeling in this qualifying final. Goes short, not 15. Umpire says play on. Strong tackle there. That's Luke O'Sullivan. Causes a stoppage. Just inside Aspley's forward 50. Huddy with the hit out. Wobblers again at ground level. Has been around pretty well for a ruckman earlier stages. Rush kick out of defence. Intercept mark is taken. Jackson Allen.
Aspley have only lost 2 games this season. And Redland-Victoria
Kick inside forward 50. Sorry, Hannah. Right at the top of the goals. Yagmore sends it. Looked like a torpedo. It's gone 50 metres out of defence. Perhaps late. Oh, nice hand pass over the top there from Lamana Packer. And then the Sharks away now. Ball kicked over the wing. Nice little tap. How's it going to sit for his teammate? Sits poorly. Knocked out on the tackle. Aspley will use the boundary as their friend. Batchelor sends a kick up. It's a nice kick. Finds his teammate Watson on just forward of centre wing. Oh, umpire says play on. Oh, pay the mark, then called play on. So Harker with time to compose. Sends it high inside forward 50 at ground level. It's been touched into the open goal. First goal, Aspley. Michael Best read that really nicely. Got a good bounce and finished it from 2 metres out.
An incredible story there with Michael Best. Did his ACL just before the grand final last year. Didn't even think he'd be playing this year at all, but just worked so hard on that rehabilitation. Had to come through the reserves as well. You know, no guaranteed position in this senior side for Aspley. And actually played a little bit in the back line, I believe, before coming back into this forward line. And there you go, first goal.
First goal of the qualifying final will sit nicely. Had some good separation there, and all just sat up for him. Walbers and Huddy. Huddy with the hit out. Aspley with the clearance though. Hand passes back to Craven. Sends a kick high forward on his left boot. You think it'd be a turnover. Mark drop though. Harker to lay the tackle. Ruben Williams ball in hand. And is actually taken out of play before he gets his kick away. So it'll be a ball in centre wing on the far side of the field. Aspley with the sole goal in the first 4 minutes of this qualifying final.
Aspley got a couple of extra numbers at the back there. Could come in handy.
Good clearance from Toy. Inside forward 50 finds Stackelberg. Just no defensive pressure there from the Sharks, and Toy was able to burst out of that stoppage, and a nice kick to his number 1 forward, Stackelberg. 70 goals for the year so far. Man on the mark would be about 30 metres out. Maybe a 50-degree angle. Wind shouldn't cause him too many problems here. Stackelberg makes his way in. Very deliberate approach. And actually he's kicked it out of bounds on the full. And some of the crowd letting him know about it. It's all to play for in this qualifying final. It's going to be Peter Yagmore to bring this back into play on his left boot. Lovely kick, goes the best part of 60 metres. But Redlands are the Sharks are forced to spoil it. Aspley been really good so far, finding front position. We're going to have a stoppage here just outside their forward 50. Rooting the ball better in the air. Wobler smacks it forward for his side, but straight to the path of Ruben Williams. Wrapped up straight away. Ball comes out. Gets to the back. Oh, hand pass over the top. The pressure's hot early from Aspley. Stallard, no chance to gather it cleanly, out of bounds. So another forward stoppage here in Aspley's forward 50, Hannah. We've had plenty of them in the opening minutes of this game.
Definitely a good result there for Aspley. Just get the ball in.
Jono Freeman in the ruck here for the Hornets. Doesn't win the hit out though. I think we're set for another forward stoppage. Yes, we are. Ball at ground level, dived on it, almost taken high. Umpire says no, ball up.
just to the left outside of the camera. Umpire's already telling some of the boys to get off the shirt. Had enough of it already.
Need to set it early. Freeman tries to gather it out of the ruck. Ball goes to ground, was held, but not enough for a free kick. And again, our third stoppage in about 30 seconds. 6.5 minutes played. Just the sole goal to Aspley so far. They lead by that. Ball at ground level. Toy laying a good tackle. He's had a pretty good start.
You would have to send the trainer on to put a stop to Dean Benson and Jackson Allen just going at it off the camera.
Freeman wins a hit out. Williams sharks it again. That's the second or third time I think he's done it today already, Ruben Williams. His influence will be telling for the Sharks. Aspley have had all the field territory so far in this game. Freeman snaps it out, grabs it out of the ruck, snaps on goal. Stallard have to concede the behind. Lead is now 7 points to the Hornets. Yagmore with the kicking duties.
There's been plenty of chat from both sides. Let's see if they can prove their point with the footy now.
Yagmore, lovely kick out of defence. Redland-Victoria point, yet to have it inside 50 as Aspley go forward again. Soccer kick off the ground into the path of Huddy, but his dump kick out of the defensive 50 isn't great. Arnold takes the intercept mark. Done that a couple of times today. The Hornets set up really nicely. Goes off his line. So the smother from Huddy is good. Almost taken to ground without the ball. Follows up really nicely. Good play from Huddy. Kicks the ball up to centre wing where it bounces crudely in front of the Aspley player. Gathers it. And force the ball forward here, the Sharks. But Aspley do have the numbers. The Sharks working hard to make it a contest. And they'll split it 50-50 and cause a stoppage forward to centre for them.
There's always plenty of numbers directly around the footy for the Sharks, but they just struggle to have that outlet option. Aspley have always just got someone free around the perimeter.
Lamana Packow winning the hit out, but Aspley with the clearance. Steps in board, taken down in a tackle. Umpire wants a stoppage. The Sharks were appealing for a free kick, none forthcoming. Freeman's worked up the ground in the ruck, but he's not winning the hit out that time. Campbell Aston for the Sharks is there. There are a couple more players, and again, another stoppage. We've only gone the best part of 9 minutes, Hannah, but I reckon we've had almost double the amount of stoppages. Freeman this time with the hit out. Brock Aston will send his side inside forward 50 for the first time today. Intercept mark is taken by the Aspley defender in front. And are we going to see a reversal? We are. Very ill-disciplined from number 18 there, Jordan Arnold. Yeah. So it's going to be Dean Benson. Was beaten in the marking contest, but Arnold threw him off and right in front of the umpire as well. So Benson's going to have a shot on goal. Very ill-disciplined, Hannah. Almost a gift for the Sharks here if Benson's to convert. He makes his way in. And his kick is through, and the Sharks are on the board through number 17, Dean Benson. Out of nowhere, the first time they've gone inside forward 50 today. Their first goal of the game, and it's just 1 point the margin.
Yeah, look, really just silly from the Hornets. I mean, they've been playing well, and, you know, like you said, only 10 minutes in and already letting the magnitude of this game get the best of them. I think really a game like today could really come down to who can stay calm, who can ignore all the chatter that's happening on and off the field.
I think it'd be fair to say that Aspley have been in control for the entire contest so far, but just one little slip up and the margin's only a point. Just need to start converting some more of their inside 50s. Freeman and Lamana Packow. And again, another bounce that isn't great. Looks to be a tricky surface to bounce the ball, so the umpire's going to have that one back and he'll throw it up. Lamana Packow racing in, almost allows Freeman to jump over the top. Great pick up and hand pass. Aspley go forward. Yagmore does well to keep the ball in front. Taking the ground in a tackle. I think that was Willow Dwyer, strong tackle. Another stoppage. Very contested footy early on. Freeman is going to give away the free kick for a push. Umpire not having a bar of it. Lamana pack out. Sends it up high, 2-on-2. Oh, strong mark taken in front there by Horsfield. Kick up to the flank, strong mark. And that's Hamilton.
Just timed that elevation beautifully.
Took it at his highest point. It was a lovely leap.
He holds to that exact last second, doesn't he?
Very tricky kick though. The man on the mark is 48, 49 metres out from goal. Tight angle. Very tight angle. Hamilton runs around. And it's almost a hybrid drop punt sort of snap. And in the end deemed out of bounds on the full, so no score. Aspley maintain their lead. Just the 1 point. Just gone over 12 minutes now in the opening quarter of this qualifying final. Winner gets a week off and a spot in the grand final. So a long, scrappy kick and is knocked out of bounds, so we'll have a stoppage. Quite a narrow ground we're at, Hannah, so I'm not surprised that a few kicks gone towards the boundary line have resulted in stoppages. Been an exciting ruck duel between these two, Freeman and Lamana Packout. Lamana Packout grabs it out of the ruck, sends it inside forward 50. How's the bounce going to be? Pressure is high, good pick up, feeds a hand pass through. Snap on goal. How's it going to bounce? Oh, the mark was dropped by the Sharks player.
You really have to think he just didn't need to stick his hands up in the second there.
I think it was Damien Stephen. I don't think he knew whether it was going to go through or not. I couldn't tell from here. In the end, it goes through as a rush behind for them. 7 apiece. And the umpire's going to pay a free kick for a push in the back. That's going to go to Adrian Williams. Oh, Lamana Packow instead, actually. Sends it inside forward 50, looking for Hamilton again. Good spoil from the Aspley defender. Sharks go back through a hand pass, inside forward 50. On his check side on the right, smart taken.
Goodness me, what a tricky little...
Very creative.
That was.
Didn't favour his left foot, and it's ended up with Hamilton. Looks to be a much more straightforward kick than his previous attempt on goal. And this match has certainly turned towards the Redland-Victoria points' favour the last 5 minutes or so, Hannah.
Certainly has. Loving the way they're using their space.
Hamilton almost directly in front, 30 metres out. Slow, deliberate approach, and he's just pushed it left.
That is very unusual from Matt Hamilton. One of the most reliable tall forwards there is. Just those final stabs. And, sorry, Will Walbers as well, back on into the ruck. So Freeman will sub out of that position.
And that's where the kick goes in the direction. Nearly taken there. Aspley forcing the ball over there into their forward half of the ground. Dodge a couple of nice bits of play, but Huddy for the Sharks. Now using the ball by hand. Up against the boundary line. O'Sullivan blindly turns kick. Sorry, Adrian Williams. Ball goes out of bounds on the full.
Potentially some very colourful language that we're picking up here on the field. Certainly no love lost between these two sides.
No, qualifying final. A lot on the line. I think that ball might have almost been kicked into the neighbouring houses, so spare ball we've got here. Going to be Jordan Arnold for Aspley to bring the ball back into play. Told to play on. Kick up the half forward. 2-on-2. Good tackle from the Sharks captain Scott Miller there on Michael Best.
Had a couple of numbers free just further up the field. Interesting they went long there.
Back of the stoppage, Batchelor inside forward 50 through side. Man in front can't take the mark. Campbell Aston. High to half back. And Lamana Packow is having an influence on this game.
Yeah, he's such a strong presence in that back line, moving into the mid in that transition.
His risky kick into the middle works, finds O'Sullivan. who goes very short to Hamilton, not 15 in fact. Moves it up to half forward, looking for Hamilton. In front numbers. Both sides, and I think that might be out of bounds on the full. It's right up against. Got to stick my head out of the window here to see that, so it's going to be a kick to the Sharks. Jared Huddy. Ruckman doesn't have a lot of movement inside his forward 50. Told to play on, just goes long. Big pack of players all around. Someone was knocked to the ground. It was an Aspley player. Sharks at ground level had the ball, then they lost it. Freeman does well to bring the ball to ground from behind. Stackelberg, how's it going to bounce from? Not great. But a stoppage is going to be okay for Aspley. Move the ball out of their defensive half, give them a chance to set up. Been a really tight start to this qualifying final.
Yeah, much more low scoring than we'd probably expect from the two sides. And they've just, it's been very back and forth.
Very contested. A lot of pressure on this football, as you would expect in a final. Good throw in from the boundary umpire. Wobblers head out. Harker doing pretty well. And his kick half forward is a turnover. Mark taken by Williams. And hugs the boundary line, finding Brock Aston.
Well, that's been their strength so far, the Sharks, is that back line. But what's probably been less certain is just moving into their 50. I think a lot of them will just look straight to Hamilton, and it's not always the best option.
Jack rolls his kick into the middle of the ground to Ruben Williams. He did well to win that. Gives it to Hamilton. Sends it up to half forward. Lovely spoil. And that was Daniel Joseph towards the boundary line. Where's the support coming from Aspley? Jumped on it. How's the umpire going to see this? Holding the ball. So the Sharks have it about 70 metres from goal. Kicks in the direction of Hamilton, goes over his head. Mark nearly taken. I think that was Benson. They were definitely looking for Hamilton, but the kick just went over his head, and then Benson stuck both mitts up but couldn't stick. So the Sharks will have a stoppage inside their full 50. Haven't had too many today. Glorious throw from the boundary umpire. Wobblers head out to a teammate, gets it out of the defensive 50. Spoil sends it. I think there must be a heap of Shark supporters there. The pressure's around the ball is definitely lifted. Kick into the middle of the ground. O'Sullivan too fast with the hand pass for his teammate going by. It's Jack rolls. And ill discipline gives away a free kick to Reece Toy, who plays on at half-back, middle of the ground. Forced to give a hand pass to a teammate who's about to get crunched in a tackle by Ruben Williams. Good tackle, no prior, ball up. That's what you'd like to see in these finals games.
Really hear the crunch though.
Actually, that is very ill-disciplined. Ruben Williams has given away a free kick for a punch to the gut. Aspley will go forward. Dodge can't take the mark, but follows up nicely at ground level. Sends it inside forward 50 over the top of both players. How's it going to bounce for Freeman? In his lap, no. Fumbles off the ground perhaps. No one can take it cleanly. It's right near the boundary line. And the Sharks in the end do well to not concede a score, force a stoppage. But again, another moment of ill-discipline, Hannah, and this time coming from the Sharks. Ruben Williams just laid a great tackle. No need to go and do that.
No, there wasn't. And they was well umpired as well. He really didn't have prior opportunity.
So Williams wins the hit out. It's taken by a Hornets player. Doesn't get a clean disposal. And now the Sharks through Hamilton to the boundary. Lamana Packow again gives a hand pass off to Matthews. Goes inboard on the outside of his boot, but it doesn't work. Mark taken by Leighton Brown.
And that's that front position that Aspley owned so well.
Here's Matthew Payne.
Got a couple
Told
of
to play
numbers
on.
the left.
Hand pass is okay. He'll run around, get the 1-2. Got to get run down. No, he gets his kick away in the nick of time. Mark dropped low, and the Sharks have a chance here. Inside forward 50 goes. The wind is going to help it. How's it going to end the goal square? Hamilton. And against the run of play, some brilliant forward pressure from the Redland-Victoria Point Sharks allows Matt Hamilton to cruise into an open goal and kick his first for the day. And the margin is now 7 points to the Sharks.
What a run from Hamilton. Just the speed he takes off. Great handwork. Well, you can see why he's one of the ones to watch. It seems almost like he's kind of lifting up this team, this belief. You know, that's essentially the goal today. Get it to Hamilman and let him do his thing.
And Matthew Payne just seemed a little bit lost on centre wing with what to do. Didn't have a lot of options in front of him. He was trying to run around and hand pass. In the end, taken, I think it might have been Jared Huddy. The ruckman actually put in a bit of pressure on him. So perhaps just a little bit of a breakdown there for Aspley. And it's going to be Huddy in the middle here with Walbers. Good bounce from the umpire. Huddy kind of blindly wins the hit out, then follows up his own clearance. Left footer to space. There's Hamilman. He'll get there first, tap it over his head. And then follow up again, getting to it first. His teammate will then try and knock it on. But Aspley will have the numbers eventually. In fact, the numbers to cause a stoppage show another ball up inside the Sharks forward 50 here.
So Aspley's defence is very tight one-on-one. Not a lot of room at all for the Sharks.
Harker does really well to burrow his way through the clearance, but instead his kick, well, unfortunately for him, his kick is turned over. I think that's Jack Rolls who's taken the mark just inside forward 50. Harker's had a few disposals today for the Hornets, but they've all been rushed and under pressure. And in the end, that kick going to give his opponents a shot on goal.
Matthew Hamilton just comes off for the Sharks, couple rotations.
So Rolls from just outside 50, sends his kick on its way. It's across the face of goal, and in the end punched out over for a boundary throw-in.
Just on Hamilton again, I've been loving what he's doing in the corridor. You know, it's one of the most dangerous spots on that field, but he's done so well to just get it on the foot fast and give the Sharks that distance that they're loving.
So it's going to be Wobblers against Lamana Paku in the ruck. Throw is short. Wobblers tried to steam through, but got a bad bounce. And players from both sides fighting over it. Been really strong tackling display from both teams so far today. In the end, just another stoppage in the forward line for the Sharks. They've had control of this game for the best part of the last 15 minutes. They nearly sharked that hit out there towards the boundary line. Almost flicked through. Umpire says throw it in. Who's going to get free and dangerous here for the Sharks? Hornets have one back off the stoppage here. Again, the boundary throw-in's a bit short. Doesn't affect Walbers. Punches it towards the boundary line again. Have to concede another stoppage. 24 minutes gone in this opening quarter of the qualifying final.
Come on, Mick!
It's all been Redland-Victoria point the last 15 minutes. Walbers and Lamana Paco. I think the Rucks had learned to take front position. That wind is probably having an effect on the throw-ins. Hand pass into the path of Rolls. Gets it now. Chance to kick a goal. He does. Joshua Brown make that 47 goals for the year. Benefiting of some good work from Jack Rolls. And all of a sudden, it's a 13-point lead to the Sharks. Hannah, what do you make of it?
Well, you know, talk about Aspley, only 2 losses this season, but they've happened in recent weeks. You know, first loss of the season happened in round 16 to Broadbeach, got pummeled 100-53, and then a couple of weeks later, another shock loss to Labrador, 75-56. So, you know, while they are the top team, you'd have to say that it's a fairly even contest, because the last few weeks, you know, they've kind of showed a few little cracks. Just a few. But I guess we're kind of seeing that right now. I mean, 7-20, well, that's unusual for this side.
I think for the Hornets, they need to turn it around in the midfield, because they're not getting a lot of forward entries these last 15 minutes. And that's allowed the Sharks to build into their own game. And again, we'll have another record ball up in the middle.
I think for me, the game changer has been Lamana Paco, and I think his work in the ruck actually has been brilliant. You know, he's not one of the tallest, but the physicality he brings, and even Huddy, you know, getting the edge over Walbers. I mean, Walbers is huge for Aspley, and he sets up a lot of these opportunities, like right now.
Going forward, inside forward 50. Best with the chance, kicked one. Hand passes back to a teammate, is under pressure from Campbell Aston. Tackle laid, free kick given away without the ball. I think it's going to be William O'Dwyer. They'll be looking for Stackelberg. Oh no, goes short nicely to a teammate that's free.
No player within an inch. Not within an inch, sorry, of their opposition.
Redland-Victoria point have manned up here. There's one lead. It's denied. You can see Freeman on the line here for the Hornets. So the kick from 50. Pretty good in terms of distance, just lacking in accuracy.
We just had no options to go to, you know, as we just said before. The Sharks just manning up so tightly that there was no real lead. And they're kind of almost playing a bit of a zone, you know, when Aspley are leading out, they're allowing each other to kind of rework that defense.
So the kick in finds Huddy. Sharks using the defensive side of the ground to bring the ball out. You would suspect Huddy doesn't have much to go to, so he's going to send it long down the line as he does, right towards us in the commentary box. Bit of a fly there from Horsfield, but no realistic chance. And Liam Dawson wanted to go short, but thought better of it. So he'll just poke this kick over the top to Walbers. Walbers assessing his options. Go long in the direction of Freeman. He's the man. Oh, flies over the top. Didn't get a hand to it instead. No free kick against. Ball up against the boundary line, and the umpire says throw it in. Not quite sure who that was, but that was a fantastic leap. I think he just forgot to put his hands up. So Williams and Freeman in the ruck. A lot of players around this ball. These boundary throw-ins with the wind generally fall a bit short. Williams down in the path of his teammate who takes it cleanly at ground level, flicks a hand pass, and then they tap the ball on. And they gain about 15 metres, the Sharks do, before it goes out of bounds again. I think we would have had in the vicinity of 15 to 20 boundary throw-ins this quarter, Hannah.
I do feel that the scoreboard pressure is also getting to Aspley a little bit.
It's an unusual place for them to be, but it is still only the first quarter. There's plenty of time in this contest left.
They just look a little bit psyched out. It looks like a little bit of a mental battle right now for them.
Oh, I think Wobblers was blocked in the ruck, and he was. A little bit silly there from Bradley Murdoch. Gives away a free kick he didn't need to. There's plenty of space. Wobblers' kick off one step isn't great. Mike taken there. I think that's William Johnson. So the Sharks will be happy to get to quarter time, you would think. Johnson pokes his kick over the top, and it just works out to Harrison Hunkin. 29 minutes, only 4 goals in this quarter, but a lot of stoppages. So you think we still probably have maybe 2 minutes to go. There's a kick up to the wing. A lot of players around it. Ducks under one, then tries to take the tackle on, gets a hand pass out. Wobblers been a lot of disposals so far. Scrappy kick inside forward 50. This might work out better for Aspley. Hand pass to Freeman. Shot on goal. Is it going to sneak in? It does. And that's a goal against the run of play. Jonathan Freeman gets his first for the day. That's a quality finish. Probably had a bit more time than he realised, but from the best part of 40 metres, kicking almost into the wind to an extent. The right footer got it home, and Aspley get their second goal of the day.
And that's got to give a bit of confidence back to this side. That margin just creeping out a little bit. Probably heading along the lines of quarter time soon as well.
They've been a little bit predictable going forward, I thought, Aspley, and that chaos kick really seemed to put the Redland-Victoria point defenders under a bit more pressure. It's a bit of a hard surface, so the ball's bounce is a bit unpredictable, as we've seen when we've had ball ups in the middle here. So that chaos entry might be the way for them to go. Regardless, it gets the margin back to 6 points. A much better place to be than 12 points down. In red time now. Good bounce from the umpire. Wobblers really having an effect on this game, and they'll go forward. Batchelor gets around one, sends the kick high inside forward 50. Freeman's there. Can't take the mark. The Sharks will rebound. One-on-one on the wing. Oh, well done there. That was Jasper Craven. Batchelor again, the captain, poking one in short. And finding Connor Stackelberg. Now, we've had some difficult shots on goals from both sides today, and I think this would take the pick of the lot. Stackelberg right up against the boundary line. Wind is blowing left to right. Ruben Williams is 49 metres out. Stackelberg sends a kick. It's a pretty good effort. I think he's kicked it. Oh, what a kick. Connor Stackelberg. That is kick goal of the day. 55 metres out on the wrong side for a right footer, kicking into the breeze. Aspley have 2 goals in 2 minutes, and all of a sudden, we are all level here at Graham Road. Hannah, what do you think of that kick?
Well, it's just showed how quickly things can change in just an instant. You know, particularly from a side like Aspley, like you just cannot count them out at any point in this game. Just like that, 20 all.
And it's no surprise that their last 2 goals have come through Jono Freeman and Connor Stackelberg. They're two of their better players up forward. 3 goals to apiece. 32 minutes gone in the opening quarter of this qualifying final. Winner goes straight through to the grand final. Brilliant bounce from the umpire. Warblers more and more influential as this quarter goes on. 2-man tackle there from the Sharks. Ball up. Huddy engaging in a wrestle. Doesn't affect Warblers. And Toy almost dragged down below, tackled at his legs. No free kick. It's another stoppage. Huddy is going to win the hit out and concede the free kick for a hold.
Got to move fast here. 32 minutes played.
They've got the momentum, so you think that there might be a chance for one more. Warblers sends it inside forward 50. Good spoil. Strong 2-man tackle there from the Hornets. Trap the ball inside their forward 50. This quarter's really been 3 phases. I think the Hornets dominated the first 10 minutes, then the Sharks the next 15. Freeman, clearance, 1-2. Harker, very, very high kick. It's going to land about 8 metres out from goal. Mark not taken. And a strong rolling tackle sees the ball out over the boundary line. Sorry, Hannah. So, yeah, Astley the first 10 minutes, the Sharks the next 15, and then these last 6 or 7 minutes have belonged back to the home side and managed to level it up at 20 apiece. Another forward stoppage of the Hornets. Who's going to take front position in the ruck? Freeman's not allowed, so it gets out the back. Toy's there, pushed in the side. Ruben Williams fighting over it. No clean disposal. Aston, Brock of the Brock variety, kind of lays the tackle, is tackled by Nicholas Dodge, so ball up again. Forward 50 stoppage has been the key today. Freeman kind of helped that ball, even though he's from behind, into the path of a teammate. And that ball, well disguised from William Pepin, I think, with Matthew Payne. Helped take it over the boundary line for yet again another forward stoppage. 34 minutes gone now in this opening quarter.
Going to be a long game, Riley. Plenty to play for, plenty of time to do it.
So Freeman and Williams. Williams with the head out. Gets out the back. Freeman's been influential today, but it's going to be Rolls to rebound for the Sharks. Kicks into open space. He's going to get there first. Leighton Brown. Siren goes. Quarter time here at Graham Road.
20 all, 34 minutes in that first quarter, and 3 goals each. Aspley, Connor Stackelberg, Michael Best and Jono Freeman, and for the Sharks, Matt Hamilman, Joshua Brown and Dean Benson. Well, it's tied up 20 all at Zups Aspley Oval. Plenty to play for. Don't go anywhere. We're back after the break. We're all tied up here at Zups Aspley Oval in Castledine for the QAFL major semi-final between the Aspley Hornets and the Redland-Victoria Point Sharks. 20 all, and my goodness, a lot of momentum shifts throughout that first 34 minutes. Aspley almost looked a little bit asleep in the first half of that, Riley, and then all of a sudden woke up, kicked 2 in a row, I think it was, and back in. What did you make of that?
Yeah, Connor Stackelberg and Jonathan Freeman kicking the last 2 goals of that quarter to tie everything up. I think it's a game that's been decided, well, had a lot of forward stoppages, so I think in this second quarter, whichever team can have the ball in their forward half is probably going to generate more scoring chances, you would think.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think the other thing for me is that we saw Jonathan Freeman in the ruck for Aspley a lot in that first probably 15 minutes, and I think, you know, I'm not sure what the purpose of that was, I guess, because Will Walbers is, to me, the dominant one, and he's who I would be keeping in there as long as you can.
And he's in the middle here as we get underway in the second quarter of this qualifying final. 3 goals to 20 apiece. And again, another shoddy bounce, so we'll have a stoppage. Umpire going to toss this one up. Great throw. Huddy, hit out. Harker side by side with Brock Aston. Aspley with the clearance forward. Good run down tackle, gets the ball in the way in the nick of time, but that's going to be in the back or holding. Take your pick. William O'Dwyer, free kick. Left footer. Pokes it into the space inside forward 50. Actually ends up near no one. And in the end, probably better off for Aspley because the ball goes through the boundary line. So they'll have the first forward stoppage of this second quarter. Just had a quick look at as well at the scores from the semi-final taking place today between Broadbeach and Wilston Grange, and the Cats out to a 22-point lead, 37 plays 15. Ball tossed in. Wobblers tries to head it out the back, snapped on goal to the top of the goal square, spoiled and rushed through for behind. I think that was Michael Best, kicked one earlier today. Kicked the first goal of the game actually in the first 3 minutes. Goes through for a behind though. So Mitch Stallard to bring the ball back in for the Sharks. They've hugged the defensive side of the ground when bringing the ball back into play, and that's a great kick. Damien Stephen does not have to move to take that mark. Just pushed up here. Gets the boundary line, as they've done all day, the Sharks. Go long down the boundary line. Lamana Packow can't influence the contest. There's Wobblers. Second half of the first quarter was great. Redland-Victoria Point, though, will get the ball forward. Solid bump there from Jordan Arnold to win front position, and the ball is kicking in the middle of the ground to find Harker. He's got the job on Brock Aston today. Takes his time to get rid of the hand pass to his teammate in Craven. His kick is ugly but effective. And then a good switch here for the Hornets, and Harker's worked very hard, the best part of 70 metres to get onto this end of the play. Stabs his kick up 35 metres. Williams doesn't take the mark, but influences it enough to hit the ground level. Yagmore there had one arm free, able to work away. Kick of a teammate, ball at ground level again. Aspley inside forward 50 now, but the Sharks with the numbers. With the hand pass back. They're going to be switching it out of their defensive half. So at Campbell Aston, most open the game's been so far. Pokes it short to Stallard. The Hornets now working their numbers across. Stallard kind of doesn't know what to do. Rugby leagues that kick almost up to Lamana Packow, who then feeds a hand pass off to a runner in Campbell Aston. Goes in board to Rolls. Time to assess his options. Sends it into space for his teammate. Can't take the mark. And that's going to be Dawson to clean up to Arnold. Back to Dawson by hand. No, now Craven. Arnold. They've got plenty of numbers using it by hand. The Hornets, but perhaps one hand pass too many, and Jack Rolls comes across to force a boundary throw. And we've seen a bit of open play the last 2 minutes, Hannah.
We have, but I think just seeing, you know, the work of Jordan Arnold to get his hand to it was really what slowed that down. Joshua Brown for the Sharks has almost had some almost opportunities. He's looking a bit dangerous, but speaking of dangerous, it's Jono Freeman sending the kick inside forward 50. Stackelberg. Aspley with all the numbers right now, far right, they've got plenty of options.
It was a very open forward lineman going in there. Stackelberg took a step off his mark, so umpire told him to play on. Effortlessly sends a kick to the top of the goal square, but the intercept mark is taken.
I don't know why he would go, you know, down the forward like that. We said he had plenty of options left or right. I know it's the easier kick, but...
Oh, speaking of easy kicks, Yagmul makes that difficult one look easy to roll. He's going to get run down! Gets a hand pass away. Umpire says that's too late. Holding the ball. Great run-down tackle. Was that Stackelberg? I think it was the full forward working up into the middle of the ground. Pokes one short there to Arnold. Having a very influential second quarter already. The Hornets content to move the ball side to side a bit more this quarter. Kind of stretching the Sharks' defence. Kick long to half forward. It's a poor one. To no one in particular. Stallard all by himself. The Sharks looking to use the corridor a bit more this quarter. Taken high, Arnold. Umpire says no. Good pick up, and then works well to feed a hand pass to a sweeper. Good pressure from the Hornets. While taken down, it's going to be high. Umpire doesn't see it. It's caught on the other side. Kick forward from Murdoch, high to half forward. And Jackson Allen.
Well, they did well to bring that back. Tackle just looked way too high there. Fortunate miss though. William tried to get a hand to that one. So much more confident play here from Aspley.
I actually say both sides. I think they probably picked a unique style. The Hornets, as we can see, probably looking to stretch the ground and use the ball as wide as they can. The Sharks really want to go through the corridor. This ruck contest, which we've had two combatants for each team today, has been really entertaining. The umpire said for it to be thrown in again. The two number 13s, Murdoch and Batchelor, just a bit of a gentle go at each other.
And speaking of Batchelor, he's just on the ground there, grabbing his ankle, the left one a little bit.
Might be readjusting his boot, I think. Hopefully. Don't like to see.
I think you're right. Yeah, he's just trying to put the boot back on.
In a final, and Freeman's called out of position there, and lucky to not give the 50-metre penalty away there was Dodge Williams with the intercept mark for the Sharks. They move the ball quickly to the far side. Brock Aston now in a bit of space. Up to Brown. Turns, heads towards goal. He had a free teammate, but put the kick over his head. No one on him. Good, well-read intercept mark there by Aspley.
Oh, I feel like the fitness of Aspley is just, showing right now. They just seem to move their numbers so quickly from left to right.
Daniel Joseph finds a free player. Oh, Ruben William, well done. Causes a spoil, but it ends up back in the path of a Hornets player in pain, and the tackling is fierce. It's hard, but fair. The umpire calls for a ball up. A lot of feeling in this qualifying final. Aspley lead by just a point.
Lamana Pacquiao just comes off to the bench now.
All four players getting a poor bounce there, but it might work out for Aspley. Hand pass back inside to the runner. Shot on goal. Low and straight and home. I think that was William O'Dwyer on the end of a good hand pass by a teammate. And a nice finish from 30 metres out. Low and straight and home, and Aspley out to a 7-point lead.
Well, momentum is certainly in the favour of the home side.
It's in such contrast, the way this game's been played this quarter. The first quarter, very stoppage dominant. Forward stoppage is the key, but now it's just about how well you can rebound the ball off half-back and go forward. And what we've seen this quarter is Aspley probably a little bit more better, higher quality entries and providing them with a few more opportunities. It has taken the best part of 7 minutes to get a goal in this second quarter, but I think it's deserving to go to the home side in this case.
So Freeman back into the ruck now. And Lamana Pacquiao steps in as well.
Didn't have a long go on the bench there, did he?
Did not. Nice little tap from Freeman.
Murdoch tried to step through it. Taken in a tackle by Harker. Umpire throws it up straight away. Freeman, dominant hit out. Middle path, the Batchelor feeds a hand pass out to a teammate who feeds it out to himself, gets a bounce and then tries it again. He's got the goal kicker in O'Dwyer. Yagmore there for the Sharks, helps seize it across the boundary line. And the ball in. I think this qualifying final's gone up a notch or two after quarter time.
But William come off and replaced by Hambleton again. So
Lamana Pacquiao, caught out of position there, allows Freeman to win the head out as Aspley go forward. Dodge collects cleanly and then is collected cleanly, taken down in a tackle ball up. Sorry, Hannah.
No, just saying with Hambleton coming back on, he was one I pointed out in those early minutes that really freed up the space. You can see how good Aspley are around the ball.
Players from both sides. Campbell Aston, hand pass was intercepted. So 1-on-4 here for the Hornets, and they win it in the end. Arnold to go inside forward 50, long and high, top of the goal square. And it's a hold, and it's going to be a free kick to the Sharks. Not too happy about that Aspley Hornets forward. Oh, it's a poor kick. They look to switch. Don't really know who the intended target was. And Aspley, the chance to kick their second of the quarter. Can't make out who that is, sorry, on the far side of the commentary box. Far side of the field from where we are. Kick from just inside 50. Across the face. Smart taken. Thought that might have been Freeman. Maybe he dropped it as the ball went to as he was coming down. Regardless, forward stoppage here for the Hornets. So good chance to kick a second goal for the quarter for them. Redland-Victoria point will need all their defenders and midfielders will need to be tight on here. Freeman, probably almost the more dangerous one. Could he snatch it out of the ruck? Have a shot on goal. He does. Goals. Well, Jonathan Freeman has built into his game very nicely from about the 15-minute mark of the opening quarter. He's been very influential around the ruck contests, and that time just took the advantage of the opportunity to push his opponent to the side, grab the ball, and kick it from 10 metres out, Hannah.
Yeah, Aspley just presenting with heaps of options. It's confusing the Sharks. There's just so many. I think they almost don't know who to take. And it's just great vision as well from the Hornets. Just, they're not going to the obvious player.
They've got plenty of options, and I think the ability, the fact that they're both ruckmen, they've got the ability to just grab the ball out of the ruck and have a kick, means that the Sharks always need to be cautious, and that the time they weren't in the ruck, and it's been a problem for them at times.
It's probably one of the coolest things, dare I say, to watch when a ruck can go out and kick it like that. It's just such an asset, and you know they've got Walbers on the bench now, giving him a rest.
Freeman hit out straight to Lamana and Packer. It was almost like a set play, but for wrong teams. Brown tried to dance around one, taken down, holding the ball, says the umpire. Good tackle there from Jackson Allen. I think Brown almost stopped, realising that he thought that he got free, but he hadn't. Allen, good tackle. Had a good quarter. A few of the half-backers for the Hornets have. It's a nice, low, hard kick. The best part of 45 metres. Great take from William O'Dwyer. It was almost one-handed. Moves the ball quickly now into the path of Freeman. On his non-preferred. High inside forward 50. Where's Stackelberg? Gets at the back. Ball nearly does. The Sharks defending valiantly. Ball picked up. Snap on goal. Across the face is William Pepin. Opportunistic snap. But a miss in the margins. 14 points. Game high.
Hey, not too wide, Bestie. Watch corridor first. Back right.
So Stallard the kick in for the Sharks. I think that's Hamilton. Delays the hand pass nicely to Miller. Kick is high to the middle of the ground. Good mark. Very good intercept mark on the third go. I think that's Dawson.
Just interesting to hear what the coaches are saying over on the Aspley side. It's not as one-on-one defence as it probably was in that first quarter. Just floating a little bit more.
Freeman probably played for the free kick there. Could have been there, but it's not paid. And he's going to be run down from behind. The Sharks caught sleeping. Move the ball quickly to the hot spot. Numbers, gathers cleanly, doesn't have an option, bounces a kick through. I think he's kicked it. He has. Nicholas Dodge, well done. Crumbed it, assessed the situation, and then executed the shot on goal really well. And that's really hard when you're pressed up against the goal face like that.
If my eyes don't deceive me, I think he even did a little fake to the left.
I think he thought he had a teammate there, and he didn't. Once he realised that, he realised what he had to do, and he did.
Great play under pressure.
Redland-Victoria point just fell asleep there at halfback once they defeated Freeman and they had the numbers, and then they've just been run down from behind. That's not the first time it's happened this quarter.
Riley, I think they've fallen asleep in this quarter a little bit. Margin all of a sudden 40-20. Don't forget it was 20 all, 13 minutes ago.
Aspley have actually kicked the last 5 goals of the game by my count.
So who does it come down to? Was this strategy of just get it to Hamilman that's crumbling right now, or is it they're not even getting in the 50? I mean, they're winning these clearances really well. Got numbers everywhere.
Chance for the Sharks now. William off half back, inside forward 50. Hornets are going to get there first. The attempted hack off the ground wasn't executed really well, so Campbell Aston now. Bounce one inside forward 50. Umpire says play on, so Dawson took the mark. Taken down, gets rid of it. Aspley be really quick and clean with their hands this quarter, but William beats 2, taken down at the tackle, and I think it went out of bounds before dropped it, so it's going to be a ball in.
Just want to highlight Liam Dawson as well. I mean, you know, we talk about him a lot throughout the season, but he's so reliable in that back line.
Their halfbacks have been really good this quarter, Aspley. Huddy and Walbers, a clear winner in the clearance. Scrappy as it's been all day. Keep their feet. Well done from the Hornets. Up to half forward, Luke O'Sullivan, Adrian Williams for the Sharks, and Thomas Watson got a bit of a sore shoulder after that knock.
Just came at it a little bit late, under the ball a bit.
Walbers hands up in the tackle, the Harker kicks blindly. Up against the boundary line, Williams, a blind hand pass, doesn't work out. Here go the Hornets. Gathers cleanly on the 3rd attempt. Steps back inside, kick smothered. Gets their first, 6th arm out to fend off. Stallard. Nice kick out of defensive 50. No mark taken. Both players had a good claim to it in the end. Forces his throw in about 60 metres out from the Hornets' goal. And I think the Sharks will be a lot happy to have it than the Hornets, because they are under siege at the moment. Hornets have kicked the last 5 goals of the game. It's happened all in about 20 minutes of action. So Huddy, hit out. Walbers, clearance. They're 2 rucks today. The Hornets, Walbers and Freeman, been very, very influential. Huddy manhandles Walbers out of the way. Doesn't give away a free kick. Walbers at ground level for a ruckman. Stoppage though.
Just back to Aspley's defensive lineup, I think for me, you know, what's really been their saving grace is Leighton Brown and Dawson again. Just that combination, just making it so hard for them to even get it down there.
Mitchell Crawley grabs the ball out of the clearance, kicks high inside forward 50, but I think that's Adrian Williams. Take the intercept mark. Been very important for his side today. Key post down back. Sends it to the wing. It's going to go right towards the boundary line. Actually a pretty good kick in all fairness. It's laying that kick the best part of 50 metres, within 2 metres of the boundary line, so it goes over for a stoppage.
Just taking Lamanu Pacquiao really out of this game right now. He had a huge impact in that first quarter, but he's just been really targeted.
Matt Hamilman hasn't had a lot to do either.
Not at all. It's not getting down there is the issue. This is where Aspley have been so strong as his midfield.
Walbers. Has that gone 15? Umpire says yes, so that's almost 50. And umpire Sam Bridges says, yes it is, come with me.
And Jasper Craven, he's just flown under the radar a little bit this game, hasn't he?
I think he's been playing out on the wing. I've seen him a couple of times this quarter out on that far wing. It's an outlet option for his side, and
he doesn't get, you know, he doesn't involve himself when he shouldn't. He just comes in at all the right times.
It dishes it off to Allen from 50. Kick is gun barrel straight over the goal umpire's head. Great goal by Jackson Allen. It is a one-way train at the moment. It's all the Aspley Hornets. They extend their margin to 26 points, 18 minutes gone in this second quarter.
Coach Daniel Webster looks very calm. I'd love to know what he said to them at quarter time. Whatever it was, it is certainly working. Reigning premiership team, reigning premiership coach.
They were challenged early in that first quarter. They kicked the first goal of the game, and the Sharks kicked the next 3. But since then, it's all been one-way traffic. Home side with 6 goals in a row.
Redland-Victoria Point haven't even gotten a point. They're still on 20. They really are just unable to get it near that 50.
They're finding different avenues to goal, the Hornets. They're not reliant on Stackelberg or even Nick Dodge, their 2 leading goal kickers this year. Just 2 goals of the 7 so far today.
And again, Aspley just have the numbers. Batchelor.
Work all right for Batchelor. He's got time to go back to a teammate. Steps around one on his left. Gets the kick away. That was Daniel Joseph. Yagmore went to ground. Good hand pass out here. Crawley. It's a floater inside forward. 52 on 1. The Sharks with the numbers. Stallard. Under pressure. Sends the kick high out to Brock Aston. On the far flank. Toy drops the mark. Probably almost taken high there. Hand pass from the Sharks to Brock Aston away on the far wing here. Lamana Packow won't get there first. As Jackson Allen.
That's the issue right now. They're not getting there first. Aston, though.
It's not even clean disposals here by the Sharks. Now it is, though. Kick poke to half forward. Mark taken. Hand pass given. Inside forward 50. They've got 3 players. Plenty, but couldn't find one. Probably dropped the mark more than anything. How the Hornets going to scramble out of defence. Here's Hamilman. Chance to influence. Gets around one. Gets around him again. Now Stackelberg kicked one from here earlier in the game. Hamilman shot on goal is to the goal line. It nearly floated through. Is it a goal? It is.
Only Matt Hamilman could do that. The determination in his eyes. Ran down his opponent. Fended them off. Spun around. And found the goals.
I think that was Daniel Benson. It definitely wasn't Hamilman who kicked the
sorry.
goal.
Sorry, Riley.
But I don't have an action replay. Just the effort.
It was the effort that allowed that to happen for me.
He got around the same player twice. And the goal greatly needed against the run of play. But it wasn't a convincing goal. This is probably the thing that concerns me. Like, yes, they moved the ball from half back and their pressure in the forward line was okay. Or Hamilman. But they were doing it by the skin of their teeth. It wasn't clean. They had a player inside forward 50, a simple 20-metre kick.
I think for the scoreboard, sometimes I think it's a good thing that it was ugly. You know, sometimes you just got to take those little wins. It wasn't pretty, but at least
it's effective.
It's effective.
And it doesn't matter how it's scored because it goes on the scoreboard. Harker, brilliant work in the midfield. Although again, another rushed kick. Hamilton played on, went off his line. In the end, did pretty well to get the kick out to Campbell Aston. Under pressure, hand pass to William. Go back to Williams. Oh, and his kick lands on the head of a Hornets player. Now there's about 4 players with the claim to the ball here. In the end, the umpire content to just say, give it to me and I'll throw it up.
And that's the danger of going back, is that Aspley, we've said it before, they've just got numbers everywhere.
The pressure's been exceptional this quarter. It's lifted, and I don't think the Sharks has matched it. I think it did in the first quarter. And we're going to have a holding the ball here. I think that's Nicholas Dodgers won a free kick. Kick one today. Long way out. The wind has dropped a little bit since when we started, but this won't be bad for the right footer. It's blowing a little bit right to left. It's a free kick almost out of nowhere, but the Sharks player dragged it in, so Dodge on his way in. Runs around and almost tried too hard with that kick, and in the end it screwed off the boot left. Out of bounds on the full. Ruben William to bring it back in for the Sharks, and he wastes no time to Thomas Matthews. They've played this side of the ground 90% of the day, the Sharks have. Trail by 20 points, time on in the second quarter. And the mark is taken by Dawson. In the end, actually, an uncontested mark on his chest. And off about 3 steps, sends it inside forward 50, looking for Freeman. Probably interfered, but disguised well by the Sharks, and in the end they force another stoppage. Williams against Freeman. Hit out. Kick was smothered. In a bit of space now. Payne. They've got the numbers here, Aspley. And pass out. That was Henderson. that went out of bounds on the full. So William popped his kick short to Harrison Hunkin.
So Aspley taking a lot of this space in front of their players, not as tight as they previously were.
And there's not really an obvious free option, at least low risk.
Well, it's confusing the Sharks, isn't it? And that's what it's done. They've just got, if the pass goes off even slightly, Aspley are there to swoop it up.
Joseph taken down, and about 4 different Sharks players having an effect on that tackle.
So
force a stoppage in the centre square.
Yeah, but by giving that space, they've kind of taken the physicality out of the game a little bit. It's what we saw plenty in that first quarter.
Batchelor wins a clearance. High inside forward 50. Yagmore tried to go for a one-handed, dropped it. Swooped on there by Best, the first goal of the game, but he's not getting a disposal there.
Hey, pressure's up. Let's go forward.
The Sharks did go through the middle of the ground earlier in the quarter, and then they stayed away from it. Aspley's zonal defence has been pretty good. Now there's lots of players on this ball. In the end, just another stoppage.
Come on, Will! On the move! Let's get dangerous!
Well, Freeman kicked one this quarter, grabs it out of the ruck, but his kick's smothered. Yagmore outside of his left boot. Mark's taken by Daniel Joseph. This is where they're cutting them off. All quarter the Hornets have been. Sharks just can't get it past half back. Joseph told to play on. Inside forward 50. Players around it, two hands spoiled towards the boundary line. Payne grabs it. No one's in the goal square. In fact, no one's around this ball at all. Who's going to get there first? The bounce is going to elude one. Gathers it, snaps. It goes out of bounds on the full with Stackelberg. It was a strange one. The kick goes to 20 metres out on goal, Hannah, and there's not one single player around it.
No, it's unusual. We don't often see that from the Hornets. Just obviously a bit of a miscommunication there.
Even the Sharks, no defensive sweeper, no one back deep.
Watch him out the back, Lado.
Bring this ball up to half back. A lot of players around it, a few players on the ground. Ducks under one, hand pass out, crawling now, left footer. And that kick hugged the boundary line, made it easy for Adrian Williams, who had prime position over Freeman. Or his options, again, not many obvious free ones, so he's just got to go long. Clear it out of the defensive 50. Huddy can't take the mark. Hand pass is good to space. The bounce isn't great for Campbell Aston, so Aspley can clean up. And then that's Lonergan. His kick's cut off by Huddy. Oh, not a great kick in defence, because it presents an opportunity for Pepin, but from 40 metres out, missed. Second behind of the day. Margin 21 points.
So again, this defensive setup from Aspley, just filling in the gaps.
They get the ball up to half back, and now they'll go forward of centre. Hasn't happened too many times this quarter, and it might work out from now. They've got a 2-on-1. One needs to protect. Gives the hand pass, and now he gives it back. Horsfield runs around on his right foot, snap on goal, sprays the kick. Out of bounds on the full. So even when they do go forward, the Sharks, they're just under pressure from the Hornets.
It's very rushed, and I think, those are the only moments right now they're getting it down there, because it's like what you said, it's not pretty. They're just kind of praying and hoping that they get there quicker than Aspley, but that's when the skill errors come in.
Kick out the back, Walbers couldn't take the mark. Miller had the ball, captain of the Sharks, taken in a three-man tackle. Means we get a stoppage. Walbers and Huddy. Huddy with front position. Hit out, Murdoch. Lonergan for the Hornets. And Hark has given away a free kick there for a push. Jack rolls. Dishes the hand pass to Yagmore. Kicks the ball to space. Might work out. Teammate can't take the mark. Horsfield dancing around. Hand pass to Brock Aston. Fumbles twice. Then kicked it and missed. Harker, ground level. Taken high. Yes, he was. Sloppy tackle there from Brock Aston. And Colin Harker makes amends for giving away a free kick a few moments ago. Runs around, plays on, kicks to the far side. His teammate was free, and he takes a nice mark. Pepin jumps at it, gets around, one bounce. Inside forward 50. Oh, mark dropped. Fend off. Could be in trouble. Good tackle. Holding the ball. Stick an arm out to try and fend the tackle off, get taken down. There's your prior opportunity gone. Good tackle from Mitch Stallard. Goal saving. Short. Hamilton, not 15. Back to Stallard. Racked up the disposals this quarter. Kick the half-back is okay. Finds a teammate. Hornets are covering here in defence, so they're just going to have to go short and quick. The Sharks. William drops the mark. Kick scrambles about 3 metres off the boot. Murdoch. Sorry, that's Murdoch there now with the ball. Hand pass to William. They're going back, the Sharks, but with no great conviction. Kick into the middle of the ground to O'Sullivan. Hand pass. Hamilton takes a bounce straight away, then dances around one. Kick to a contest. Well played by the Hornets defender. And his second effort to lay the tackle. They've got the numbers here, the Hornets. They should be able to clear the ball. Dawson Stephen. Jordan Arnold.
Just got to credit. I know we've been talking about it, but Aspley's defence is just perfect right now. Just smothering anything that comes near them.
I think they look like creating some opportunity, the Sharks, when they're a bit more creative and free-flowing with the ball, but they almost don't seem to know how to do it, as we see a free kick here to Freeman.
And it's the one-on-ones that they're losing right now.
So where's Stackelberg? There he is. The kick's in his direction, 4 short. Follows up, siren goes. Half-time here at Graham Road. A dominant quarter by the home side.
Certainly was. 21-point lead now. Redland-Victoria Point just got the 6 points in that quarter. Just the 1 goal. And Aspley, well, the 4 for them, sitting on 47 right now. So 2 quarters to go, but this momentum is certainly with Aspley, and they're certainly playing like the better team, Riley.
No, agree. Their coach, Daniel Webster, delivering some important messages at quarter time, taken on board. They kicked the first 4 goals. They kicked at 1.6 goals in a row to extend their lead to 21 points, quickly racing through the goal kickers for the home side. 2 goals to Jonathan Freeman, including one where he just grabbed it out of the ruck and kicked it from 10 metres, and then singles to Nicholas Dodge, Connor Stackelberg, Jackson Allen, Michael Best, and I believe it was William O'Dwyer for the visitors. 2 goals, again, I believe, to Dean Benson, 1 each to Matt Hamilman and Joshua Brown. We're going to take a break, but please do join us for the second half here in a few minutes.
My name's James Strybos. I started umpiring at the Jindalee Jags Football Club. I've been going for about 20 years now, and I'm now just becoming an AFL umpire.
So I'm Matthew Young. I've been umpiring for 17 years now. Started at Jindalee Jaguars, also into the QAFL, into the NEFL, VFL, and then finally in the AFL.
Hi, my name's Andrew. I started umpiring at the Aspley Hornets Football Club. I've been umpiring for close to 11 years, and now I'm umpiring AFL football.
I was influenced by my dad. He was running around in Queensland at the time, and then the local footy club at Jindalee wanted some club umpires, so I thought it was a great opportunity to earn a little bit while I could. So I started in club umpiring, and then really quickly kind of found myself wanting to get involved in the Brisbane Juniors, so then made my way through that pathway all the way into senior footy up here in Queensland.
So we started playing together back at Jindalee Jaguars, and he had a history of umpiring in his family with his old man, and seeing James umpire as well got me involved into umpiring. So to now share that experience that we've had for so long, 15 years or whatever it is, 16 years, to now umpire, and hopefully we get to do a game together at AFL level, which will be awesome.
I started playing at Aspley at under-8s football, and then when I got to about under-13s, I started my club umpiring journey there just to make a bit of extra money. Probably like a lot of umpires, I realised that I was a lot better at umpiring than I was at playing, so to get to any sort of decent level, I knew that it wasn't going to be through playing, it was going to be through umpiring, so it was a pretty easy decision in the end.
Down at Jindalee, it was a pint of Coke, whether it was a scoreboard or club umpiring or goal umpiring. I used to run about 3 or 4 games a weekend and enjoy the 3 or 4 pies and Cokes, which was fantastic. I'm glad it's changed a little bit now.
Absolutely, give it a go. I didn't have a whole lot of interest when I was playing footy until friends and whatnot started umpiring, and then I just loved it from day one. So I think it's a great opportunity for you to build confidence in yourself. There's so many range of areas where you can develop yourself outside of footy as well, and it helps you in life in general. So give it a go for sure. It's a journey that I'm so thankful that I took up at a young age.
Obviously the 3 of us getting put on this year, and there's already 2 on the list at the moment, so to have a good strong contingent of Queensland umpires on the list is fantastic, and to do it with 2 guys that I've kind of come through the ranks with and umpired a lot of football with, it's really good.
It's been a long road to get to this position, and when the phone call came through, I was pretty speechless, and even now talking about it, it's still very exciting and really just looking forward to what challenges are ahead with it.
I think it's probably commitment is the number one thing. A lot of people have a lot of talent and a lot of people have a lot of promise, but I think if you can combine that with commitment and getting everything right off the field and putting in 100% like everything, I think that's probably what it takes is to get there. Yeah.
It's a 21-point margin here to the Aspley Hornets over Redland-Victoria Point at Zups Oval, Aspley. Huge clash here. The QAFL qualifying final to make the grand final in 2 weeks' time. Sorry, so many finals going on today. I'm half forgetting where I am. Riley, a huge comeback there from Aspley. All the momentum after really the first 15 minutes in the first quarter has just been towards Aspley.
Yes, thank you, Hannah. Yes, Aspley kicking 6 consecutive goals across the first and second quarters at one stage, getting out to a 27-point lead. Now it's at 21. But the Sharks have a lot of work to do, I feel. I think Aspley have, as you've said, been dominant from late on in the first quarter to half-time. And it's all around the ground. It's in the midfield. It's in their rucks, up forward. It's a collective effort, and I thought their backline in that second quarter was very impressive. Probably set the tone. So for the Sharks, it's firstly got to come from their midfield. And then, how they go inside forward 50 is the key for them.
Just moments away now from entering this second half. And don't forget, the winner heads to the grand final at Giffen Park on the 16th of September. The loser will host the preliminary final, which looks right now to be against Broadbeach, but still plenty to play out in that game as well.
Here we go. Second half. We are underway. Great bounce from the umpire. Aspley working forward, hand pass cut off. Campbell Aston kicks the ball over his head. Goes about 9 metres, so it'll be play on. Two-handed punch. Aston will try again. A lot better inside forward 50, but Dawson reads the ball excellently and then wastes no time switching it out this side to Daniel Henderson. Takes the mark on his chest. Something they look to do a lot more in the second quarter is spread the ball around the ground using the width of this narrow venue. William held in the marking contest, not allowed to take it. Harker there at ground level. William does well to follow it up. Then hand passes it almost into space, asking Jack Rolls to come onto it. He doesn't get it, but he does lay a nice strong tackle on Jasper Craven, who had a strong second quarter. Had the first stoppage in this second half after 45 seconds. Huddy and Warble. Oh, almost high. Umpire won't see it, so he can't call it. Another ball up. So Will Walbers, Jasper Huddy in the ruck. Walbers hit out in the path of Payne. Hand pass back as well, but his teammate runs in to Thomas Matthews. Again, umpire unable to see that clean, effective tackle, so we're just going to have a ball in. Walbers and Huddy. Throw-ins from this side have been falling a little bit short today because of the wind. Ruck's position nicely. Huddy holds Walbers, gives away a free kick.
And Huddy probably hasn't had the impact he would have liked to have today. He's been up against both Walbers and Freeman, who've really had the edge over him.
Speaking of Freeman, he's there, but it's Rolls to Aston. To O'Sullivan in the middle of the ground. Scrappy kick up the half forward. Sits nicely for the Aspley defender to come at it. Good pick up there by Joseph. Pushed as his kick inside forward 50. The ball goes, bounces all over. 3 players. Yagmore to William. Wanted to go in the middle of the ground. Thought better of it. It switches out wide to Matthews.
Haven't seen that happen very many times at all today. Ball just spilled over the 2 Aspley players.
The bounce on this surface is very unpredictable. Kick up to a one-on-one, Huddy and Walbers. Aspley have the numbers here at ground level. It's good from Batchelor. Harker now. Inside forward 50 to Stackelberg. Nice kick, nice mark. Really good from the midfielders there of Aspley, and then Harker with a really nice composed kick to his leading goal kicker of the year. Stackelberg only got the one today, and it was from a very similar position to this one. The wind is blowing left to right here for Stackelberg. With a perfect start for the home side in this second half. Kick from just outside 50, Stackelberg. Pushed it left, it's coming back, but not enough. Opening score of this second half, minor to Aspley. They're going with the zone here. The Sharks like to come out towards this broadcast side.
They do, and they do the reverse when they're kicking the other way. I dare say it's pretty predictable at this point. And we were saying, you know, chaos is kind of what we'd like to see. Like, when they're taking those risks and catching Aspley off guard, it's when they're shining the most. right now, and well, here's something different.
Matthews to Williams, and his kick is really, really poor. Cut off by Thomas Watson. Goes very short, barely the 15. In fact, not the 15. Missed the tackle. Hand pass to Dodge. 20 metres out, in on goal. He's missed. Wondered how all of that happened. First the turnover and then the missed shot on goal. Redlands moved the ball quickly this time. Redland-Victoria Point moved the ball quickly this time to Rolls in the middle of the ground. Chance to be a bit more direct. Short to Campbell Aston. Told to play on. Puts the kick out for Huddy here. A lot of players around it. Intercept mark taken. Dawson. His influence is growing in this game. Pokes the kick short, not 15. Umpires have called that a lot today. To Payne. Goes all the way back.
Back to Rayner, and he's essentially done not a lot today, and I mean that in that the ball, you know, Aspley aren't even letting it get that far, and it's that movement from Dawson. Sorry, Riley?
No, that's a great kick to Macaulay Lonergan. Pokes one in short.
But just on Hamilman, you know, he's had almost no impact since that first quarter, and it's because of how well Aspley are playing.
And that's all around the ground. It's not Hamilman's fault. The ball just hasn't been down there.
No, not at all, yeah. But it's a great tactic. I mean, they know who their strongest player is.
Rolls 1-on-2. Ball knocked out of the tackle.
Strongest forward, I should say, rather than strongest player. But
you wonder whether he'll get moved up the ground a bit more this quarter. Hamilman to be more influential in this game, but if the Sharks don't win the ball and get it going forward, it's not going to almost matter where he is unless he's put behind the ball. Well done by Toy with the clearance to Joseph. Left footer. Kick in the middle of the ground. Watson. Bounces poor. Yadmore goes to ground. Crawley. Socketed it when he wanted to pick it up. Bounce nicely. Payne feeds the hand pass out to a teammate, this time on goal. Directly in front. And I think that's Thomas Watson. Gets the opening goal of this second half. Margin out to 29 points. Had a teammate miss one there earlier in this half, but some really nice hand passes there from the Hornets, freeing players to run into space, and Watson there kicks his first of the day.
Brock Aston here just coming off for a little rest. Number 51, Daniel Annable, comes on. Now, Brock, we haven't seen a lot of him today, and he's one of those players that we often spend half the game just calling his name, but he's probably been shut down a lot.
I think Cohen Harker's doing the job on him, and he's done a very good job. Harker, defensively, and he's had plenty of the ball as well. So, you know, he's making Brock Aston be accountable, as well as making things very tough for him when the Sharks do have the ball. And this is where the Sharks need to turn it around. It's in the middle here with these centre clearances. So Walbers and Huddy. Great bounce from umpire Sam Bridges. Both rucks got a hand to it. The clearance was, the first disposal was by Aspley, but Huddy sends the kick inside forward 50, and is that Hamilman who's given away a free kick for a hold? It's going to be a Hornets free kick. They generally go one-on-one here, the Sharks defensively. Hornets content just to kick it out here on this wing. Big pack of players around it. Huddy was high there. Sloppy, really. Arnold, free kick.
Probably Riley even like to see another option in the ruck there for Redland-Victoria Point. We've obviously seen with Aspley, they've got their two options, Freeman and Walbers, but
we haven't seen Lamana Paku in the ruck this quarter, or this half yet.
We haven't.
And that's probably the one if they're going to turn to an alternative option. Strong mark taken by Watson. Kick the half forward, free player, Stackelberg. No, it's going to be a turnover, a free kick for a block.
I don't think it was him that blocked. I think it was the teammate.
It was a teammate. It was good adjudication by the umpire there. Stackelberg was plenty of space.
So here's the interesting part. Redland-Victoria Point, very steady.
Very stagnant with their ball movement this quarter. They've done that kick a lot, actually, coming out of defence. First wide and then long.
But this is where they tend to panic.
Rolls, Matthews. He's got Hamilman if he can put the ball out over the top. Good defensive play by Rayner. Hamilman tried to grab it at ground level. Aspley player come across. He's taken out of it. Hamilman gathers, snaps on goal. Got a teammate there, but a strong two-handed spoil by Jackson Allen. Done some good things today.
He has, but it's a tempo change that's just frustrating Redland-Victoria point right now. I was saying before, but it's pretty steady, you know, in their back line, and then as soon as it hits this centre area, it just turns to a bit of panic.
So Toy can't take the mark, goes to ground level, shows the umpire he's got the ball, then probably pushed in the back. Umpire says no, so ball up. Most probably lucky. Well, unlucky not to get the free for in the back, and then actually had the ball clear and didn't dispose of it, so maybe it evens out with this stoppage. I think the Sharks need to put a bit more pace on this ball, take the ball through the corridor and actually take a few risks, because they're 28 points down, 10 minutes into the third quarter. Game has been the Hornets since late in the first quarter. 7 of the last 8 goals the home side have, forcing a stoppage.
Sorry, Phil. So DJ,
I think Freeman's been moved into the ruck, and there's Lamana Pacquiao. Kick concedes ground. Players around it. How's it going to bounce? Good take there by Lonergan. They're going through the middle. In the path. Nice kick. Finds Nicholas Dodge. Runs around. Open goal square. 2 out the back. Very high in the air. Crawley takes the mark. 2 metres out from goal. Not in the goal square though. He's a left footer. It's going to be an advantage for him to run around onto his preferred foot. Hasn't troubled the scorers yet today, Mitchell Crawley. Just taking his time. You don't need to rush these kicks, because it all happens very quickly. Left footer runs around, snaps, goals. Well executed. Home side out to 34 points. Owning all areas of the ground at the moment.
So in case you've already forgotten, at half-time we were 20 all. Aspley shot up to 61 and Redland-Victoria point just 27 still. And this is danger signs now.
Very dangerous for the visitors.
Brock Aston just comes back onto the field, so had a bit of a spell there. See what kind of impact he can have. He's one of those names on the side that is a bit of a leader on the field. And here we go. Here's the change in the ruck. So this is what I was mentioning before. Now we've got Freeman against Lamana Pacquiao.
Bounce from the umpire. Lamana Pacquiao grabs it out of the ruck, and then he's got a runner off half-back that he gives it to. Sends it up towards the forward line with the kick. Players from both sides. Dawson. Good mark. 3 deep. His influence has been telling since quarter time. He's just simply denied the visitors the chance to go inside forward 50.
He has, Riley. I think for me right now, Dawson is my best on. He has just been a brick wall back there.
That kick nearly worked out, but wrapped up in a tackle, both players.
And pretty much any option in the air, Dawson has shut down.
Need to find other ways to goals. Other ways inside forward 50, the Sharks just bombing blindly, and I think that tackle might have been below the knees. Umpire says no, so ball in here. William Johnson, perhaps a little bit unfortunate. So Freeman and Lamana Pacquiao. Johnson free for the Sharks, and I think that's Allen at the back, but Freeman just grabs it out of the ruck and sends a hand pass forward 10 metres. Before it's knocked out of bounds. Sorry, it's Michael Best who's the free player. So Johnson and Best, the 2 free players. Otherwise, it's one-on-ones all around here at this stoppage. Goal is low. Freeman pushed out of it despite getting the hit out. Rolls Aston, no, Murdoch tried to barge his way through, taken down in a tackle, and both players wanting to go on with it. Umpire going to waste no time, well adjudicated, just throws it up in the air. All players' eyes are back on the footy. Walbers tries to march through, can't, ball up. Lamana Pacquiao looking for the contact. Walbers looking for the ball with the hit out. Rolls, dances around the tackle. Umpire just going to call a throw in there. Rolls his hand pass over the top, was blind. A few cries for deliberate, but Be a very brave umpire to pay a free kick like that. See the sun affecting the play, affecting the two rucks right in their eyes. Huddy hand passes, hits it in the direction of the boundary line, but the Hornets sharked it, and now they go forward through Lonergan, inside forward 15 metres out. And mark taken? Yes, in the end, Adrian Williams, a vitally important intercept mark. What are the Sharks going to go do? Going to go short to Stallard?
Aspley sticking with that zone.
Been very effective today.
Has been, absolutely.
A 1-2 actually. Stallard to Williams. Got one short here. Damien Stephen. And short this time to Rolls. So they moved the ball out of their 50. 4 short kicks to William. Now, legged, was he? He was. But no 50-metre penalty.
Only a couple free for Redland-Victoria Point. They're in the middle.
I think he's got a short one here in O'Sullivan. That's 5 kicks now. O'Sullivan will go quickly now that the ball's forward of centre. Benson is out-positioned by Dawson again. I think that's his 3rd, maybe even his 4th intercept mark this quarter alone.
Who else? Who else but Dawson right now?
William with the leap, but has no impact on that. Pepin gets out the back here. Inside forward 50. The kick to Dodge works. No? Yes it does. Umpire Bridges content to pay the mark to Nicholas Dodge, which I think is a fair call, and a 50-metre penalty.
Adrian Williams clearly feeling hard done by there. Just having a few words there with the umpire, but what that's about. We said earlier today, didn't we, that these little moments of ill discipline could have a huge impact on the result.
So Nicholas Dodge, an absolute gift. First, well, the mark was well taken, but then the 50-metre penalty that just didn't need to be given away by the Sharks. He's going to take his time. The top of the goal square, Nicholas Dodge has 1 today. Now he has 2. And Aspley have a 40-point lead at the 16-minute mark of this 3rd quarter of this qualifying final.
On a home venue, the Aspley Hornets just dominating their visitors right now.
They've kicked the only 3 goals of this quarter. They've kicked 9 of the last 10 goals of this game.
And not only that, but the faces of the Sharks just look dejected.
The heads have dropped.
Yeah, I want to see some fight back from them. You know, we've seen stranger things happen all across this competition. We've seen it before. It's possible to come back, but it's got to start in the head first.
The main rucks for each side, back in the middle. Huddy and Walbers both got to handle it. William in the middle now. Haven't seen that move too often. Oh, haven't seen that move yet. His kick is smothered. Desperation by Aspley. And a stoppage, I think. Yes, it will be. Where's the turnaround going to come for the Sharks? Or is it going to be with the one-way traffic that we've seen so far today? Watson there. No, Crawley, sorry. Hand pass. Great hand pass forward. Into the path now. Or works out for Crawley. Fights through a tackle. Gives a hand pass off. Kick inside. 50. How's it bounce to Freeman? Not kindly. Ball in. We see in these situations, Hannah, now that Aspley are just winning 1-on-1, even 1-on-2s, and then those are quickly turning into 2-on-1s where they've got the outnumber. Their disposal's been a lot more accurate than the Sharks today. So Williams and Freeman. Williams thumps it forward 15 metres, 20 metres now. But Dodge gathers, kicks off 1 step. Sends a kick to the top of the goal square. Nearly works out. It's a full lap of a teammate. It does. Michael Best. That's a really good mark in the circumstances. That ball was swirling around in the air. All players were running backwards, and in the end, it just fell in his lap.
He's had a great game. Just played so skillfully. Coming in clutch.
The forward, got to take your opportunities when they present. Best takes his. He's got 2. Very happy. .46 points the margin now.
Well, Well, you have to think the Sharks are feeling the sting. What can they do, Riley? Like, how do they come back from this? If you Phil Cass, how do you get the boys going as we, you know, it's not even close to three-quarter time yet, but they look lost out there.
The fact that it's not three-quarter time or close to means there's still plenty of time for things to turn around. As with anything, I think you've got to be first to the football, and Aspley have been for the most part of this game. So for the Sharks, that's the first thing that needs to change. And then I think it's the way they move the ball. Their ball movement's been very stagnant, very slow. The few times they have looked dangerous are when they've been creative and just taken the game on, and that's what they need to do, while, when they go forward, avoiding Liam Dawson.
Pretty hard to avoid Dawson. That will be called back there.
I think they've taken the first step because they've moved Hamilman up to centre-half forward now. And Dawson has dropped back. But if they can't get the ball going forward, it's not going to make an effect. It's not going to matter. And even though that hit out is to the advantage of a Sharks player, he's wrapped up in a tackle straight away. That's Toy laying the tackle. Both rucks almost giving away a free kick for a hole. Walbers smacks it forward. Oh, and it's just going Aspley's way at the moment. Dodge from 50. Kick is to the left. Is it Dodge? Sorry, it might have been Best. I think it was Best. Ball just ended up in his lap. And what have we got here? Umpire just telling the Sharks player to not kick in yet. So Stallard. It's a nice kick off about 3 steps to Brock Aston. Bit of a quiet game. Delays the hand pass to Williams, but it's not great. He's got a teammate there to help swoop up. Kicks off 1 step to a 2-on-2. Hamilman might be around it, come from behind. Payne gathers. Hand pass to the teammate who then tricks the Sharks defender by feigning the hand pass, then kicks it inside forward 50. Freeman flies, can't take the mark at ground level. Nearly ran onto it. Kick, the rebounding kick is smothered.
Just so many panicked disposals.
Toy to Freeman, snaps from 45. Bounces through! Oh, was it touched? I think it's a goal. Oh, what a goal. Jonathan Freeman.
Third for the afternoon.
That's a huge wrong-un. I think everyone was expecting that ball to bounce left, and it bounced right. It was nearly actually touched by a teammate. I think he was pretty fortunate in the end to manage to somehow miss it. And Jonathan Freeman has 3 today. And another one that was just spectacular. It was almost a nothing kick, just a snap from 40 metres out to the top of the goal square, and the bounce just favours the brave. Aspley, 53-point leaders here. 11 of the last 12 goals. They've kicked 5 this quarter.
They've certainly got one hand on a grand final position. Their chance to go back-to-back is closer.
The bounce. Wobblers flies. Campbell Aston wins the clearance, sends it inside forward 50. Chance for Hamilman. Easy as you like.
Have to think he'll go for this one.
Well, he has to. The league leading goal kicker got one today. I think this is his 4th. This will be his 4th shot on goal. 1 goal, 1 behind, 1 out of bounds on the full. Directly in front. Not too much wind around. From 50 metres, Hamilman. Oh, ball drop wasn't great. Kick, as a result, went right. Just to make things a little bit worse for the visitors.
He'll be disappointed with that, no doubt. He hasn't played his best today either.
It was a great opportunity to get back into it for him, but unfortunately he missed with his kick. The Hornets will now rebound. Kick to a 2-on-1 with the Sharks. Unable to take advantage. Harker take it to ground in a 2-man tackle, ball up.
Set up quickly. Good race.
Walbers heads it out towards the safety of the boundary line where his teammates are. They're unable to find a clean possession. Another stoppage. Umpire tosses it straight up. Huddy hit out to Murdoch. Oh, Payne sharks the ball well and then frees up Joseph to run off half back. Sends a kick up to half forward. It's Adrian Williams taking the intercepting mark. His teammate gets in the way of the kick he wanted to do, and now he's going to go short. It's going to be cut off. 2-on-2. Good tackle by Hamilton. Causes a stoppage. Good hand pass here. Aspley now to the free player. Dodge sends it inside forward 50. Taken out late. Umpire says it's fine. Stallard gathered that ball in the air cleanly, taken down in a tackle. Have a ball up inside Aspley's 50. About 20 metres out from their goal. 5 goals to none in this quarter so far. Ball at ground level. Hand pass out. Oh, tackled as he kicked. Didn't get one away. Yagnall was on the ground when he picked it up. Then he went to kick it, dropped it, hand pass to a teammate, take it down in a tackle. And another stoppage now for the Hornets inside their forward 50. Who's going to get on the move and be dangerous for the home side here? Had the ball, but no chance to get rid of it, so another stoppage. 24.5 minutes gone in this third quarter. Williams and Watson. And I think we're going to have another stoppage. Good tackle. Can't fault the tackling techniques of either side today. Ball at ground level. Hannah, you've just shown me the score of the semi-final taking place today.
I have, and the look on your face, Riley, showed me everything. Broadbeach trail by just 1 to Wilston Grange, 63-64, and that was updated just a minute ago.
I reckon Wilston Grange have kicked at least the last 5 goals, and I think we're going to have a free kick for a hold.
But wouldn't that be an upset? Broadbeach knocked out of the final series. Not yet, though. Just the 1 point.
Good kick. Lamana Pacquiao. One of his side's better players today, but again, hasn't had a great chance to influence the contest. Sends his kick up here. He's forward to centre wing, but he can't take the mark at ground level now. Rolls, tries to fend off, and he's taken a 3-man tackle. Doesn't dispose of it correctly, holding the ball. Henderson. Side forward 50, centering kick mark taken, Stackelberg. Nope, sorry. Thomas Watson. Stackelberg's taken a few marks like that today. Kick came in nice and low. Watson just had to put his mitts up, take a strong grab. Chance to double his goal tally today. Watson. Kicks truly. And he's got 2. Margin is 58 points. Aspley 13-8-86. Redland-Victoria 0.4428. 12 of the last 13 goals belong to the Hornets.
It's enormous. They're setting themselves up for what I fear will be an even bigger fourth quarter. I mean, in terms of scoreboard pressure, I think it's safe to assume that the Sharks are probably done, and that's unfortunate to, be able to even say that at this point in the game, because, there is still 1 quarter, but God, you'd have to have half of Aspley collapse right now for a comeback like that to occur. Aspley just dominated across every inch of this field today. Just hope they haven't played their best this season yet. But, something we speak about with Aspley is, you take someone off and someone equally as impactful comes on.
Luke O'Sullivan with the clearance has been moved in the middle. A lot of players around this ball. Gathers cleanly shot on goal. Is it going to get there? No, it's not. Touched. I think the kick was from Damien Stephen, but Aspley still working hard in both attack and defence. Punch the ball over the line for a behind and then waste no time to bring it back into play. 2-on-2. Tap to Henderson now. A lot of space in front of him. Puts it in the path of Stackelberg. How will it bounce? Right in front of his feet, so he ends up half volleying it back 20 metres. And then O'Dwyer taking in a tackle, tripped. The home crowd love it.
Tempo!
So O'Dwyer to Joseph. Just improve the angle a little bit. Kick in the direction of Watson. Hits the ground and then bounces past him. Teammate taken, took the ball, went to ground. Might have been clipped on the head. No free kick, so we'll have a stoppage. Aspley player just taken there. Is it Dodge? Looks a bit ginger. The Sharks will clear from defence. High kick up the half back. Mark nearly taken. Good play there by Horsfield. Running bounce. He run a long way. Oh, umpire I think was nearly going to blow running too far, but he didn't. Kick inside forward 50 finds William. So nice little bit of play individual brilliance from Tyler Horsfield. Hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, and probably not, so apologies. Gives Ruben William here a chance to kick a goal for his side. Which is something we haven't seen a lot of today, Hanno. A bit of creativity and a bit of quick moving play from the Sharks has resulted in them having a shot on goal.
Yeah, they've been, reactive until this point.
So William. Step inside, 50. Very high kick to the goal line. Dawson, wouldn't surprise me if it is him. Cannot tell at this point, sorry. Got players blocking me. I think it is him, judging by the kicking technique. Had a sensational game since quarter time. I reckon that's his 5th intercept mark just in this quarter alone. That's despite his team kicking 6 goals. Tremendous effort. Aspley bringing the ball out of the fence. That kick within a metre of the boundary line. Spoiled over. Stop it. Have a throw in. Sun setting behind us here. Ends up Aspley Oval. Pye throws it back into play. Walbers front position, wins the hit out. But the ball just rolls over the boundary line. Gone 30.5 minutes, 6 goals, 2-0 this quarter. It's all been one-way traffic in the direction of Aspley. Boundary throw-in is very good. Harker, front position. No chance to dispose of it. Taken in a tackle there by O'Sullivan, who's been moved into the midfield. Second half of this quarter. Walbers and Huddy. Tapped to the free player. Batchelor went at it a second time, but was taken high by Huddy.
Aspley just always got 1 or 2 spare around them. Craven's on the left. It looks to go long.
I think the kick was directed for Walbers. It didn't get there. Brock Aston has to gather it and then kicks it 15 metres into space, but the Hornets have got the numbers. Harker turned to bump and then ended up with the ball. Fed it out to a teammate by hand. To Crawley, want to get back on his left foot. Does. Kick in the middle of 2 teammates. Rolls, fumbles. Best to Toy.
And there's Craven again, just always there on the side.
He's got someone free, pokes the kick. Yagmore cuts it off though, as the siren goes here at 3/4 time at Zups Aspley Oval. A dominant quarter by the Aspley Hornets. 6 goals to nothing. They have a 57-point lead, and you would think they are all but certain to play in the grand final in 2 weeks' time and have a week off next week. Just quickly racing through the goal kickers for the Hornets. 3 goals to Jonathan Freeman, 2 goals each to Nicholas Dodge, Michael Best and Thomas Watson. Singles to Mitchell Crawley, Jackson Allen and William O'Dwyer. For Redland-Victoria point, 2 goals to Dean Benson and 1 each to Matt Hammerman and Joshua Brown. We're going to take a break, but please do join us here in a few moments for the last quarter from Zups Aspley Oval.
So show some heart was the PG abbreviation of what Redland-Victoria point coach Phil Cass had to say to his side at three-quarter time as we come back to the Aspley Hornets completely dominating over Redland-Victoria Point, 86-29. Riley, it's been an absolute masterclass from the Hornets. They've dominated across the whole field. Who's standing out for you in Aspley? Let's talk about the positives so far.
Well, I still think it's their two tours, Jonathan Freeman and Will Walbers, been quite influential, but I think you'll probably touch on a bit more how good Liam Dawson's been across half-back. Very, very influential, actually. And some reason, sorry, just to interrupt, Hannah, it seemed that the Sharks had an extra player on the field. So Ruben William coming to the bench. He did go forward, but now he's come to the bench. Strange way to get the final quarter underway here.
Well, it's worth a shot, isn't it, when the margin's that? But not legal. So off William goes.
See what the Sharks' effort will be like in this quarter. Batchelor with plenty of time. Gives the ball to Craven. Has a bounce. He does pretty well on his non-preferred to get a kick forward, and then his team will get the free kick downfield. Been hit, taken out late. So Macaulay Lonergan, an emergency. In for Tom Templeton, who didn't play today, so you think he might come back for the grand final.
He's made a nice impact, actually. He's done a great job as just filling in those roles. I've noticed him come in and off throughout the game, just while his teammates have a spell.
And the Sharks have now worked it so that Williams on the field. I like to not use him as they go inside forward 50. Horsfield has run really well. Hand pass to Benson. Got two. Make it three. First goal of the last quarter to the Sharks. Dean Benson with his third. Really nice running display there by Tyler Horsfield. Worked really hard. Fatigue will make an impact in this last quarter. Had a couple of good efforts in this second half. And they do get the first goal. The margin's back to 51, but I just have a feeling it'll be all too little too late for the Sharks, Hannah.
Well, look, it will be in the overall game, but, you know, I think right now they've got to remember they have another chance. And we've been keeping an eye on the score. It's looking very close between Broadbeach and Wollston Grange. At first, Wollston Grange were up by 1, and now it looks like Broadbeach lead by 5. So you can't forget they've got next week. So if I were the coaching team, I'd be saying, well, this fourth quarter is how we're going to play next week. So forget about, you know, as harsh as it sounds, forget about this game. We're not winning it. What can we do to show me why you should be playing next week, why you deserve to be back in that grand final over either Broadbeach or the Gorillas?
No, I agree. That's what happens when you finish top 2. You get a second chance, but they've still got the best part of half an hour to play out here. Aspley will go forward, winning the centre clearance. Oh, great kick, great mark. I think that was Batchelor with the clearance. Just not sure who, is it Stackelberg? I think he's got some strapping on the left shoulder. Yes. That's brilliant play. Centre clearance, one kick forward, into the path of your full forward, leading out nice and hard, taking a strong mark out in front. If only football were that easy, you could do it all the time. Stackelberg, just one today. Very close to the man on the mark. Very powerful kick. Goal. Umpire does not move. The immediate response, they've been just a class above today, the Aspley Hornets, and Connor Stackelberg providing the response. Margin back out to 57 points, 14-8, 92, plays 5-5, 35. Doesn't get any more clinical than that, Hannah.
Absolutely not. The Aspley coaching team on the right looking pretty happy. Plenty of good signs ahead of what will be their second consecutive grand final appearance for the first time since coming back from the VFL.
What do you think they need to get out of this final quarter here? The obvious one is no injuries. Don't want any players getting injured. But what do you think they'll be looking to take out of these final 25, 30 minutes?
Yeah, well, I'd be giving those bench players as much time as you can. You know, Lonergan, he's been really good. I think Craven's probably increased in his time. Got Payne back out there too.
So Huddy win the free kick for a hold and then just plays on. Sends it long inside forward 50, and I think this will fall in the path of Hamilman. There's a really nice kick from the ruckman to space, allowed his forward to move onto the ball and take a mark, uncontested. So Hamilman will go back and try and kick his second goal of the day. 45-degree angle, probably about 35 metres out from when he kicks the ball. Hamilman making his way in. Slow and deliberate approach. Puts it right, and the wind will sneak it through for his second. 2 goals to Matt Hamilman. The Redland-Victoria Point Sharks have 2 in this final quarter. It's going goal for goal here at the moment. Had 3 goals in just over 4 minutes.
Well, they've been pretty quiet in the second and third quarter, so good signs to get 2 already. Yeah, I think for Aspley, you know, this fourth quarter, just resting some of those bigger players. And when I say big, I mean, you know, the important, the mainstays.
See, they put Daniel Henderson in the middle. I don't think he's had too many centre clearances before in the first 3 quarters of today, but he's in there now. Huddy actually wins that centre clearance by soccering at the best part of 40 metres. It's going to be Henderson who gets there first. Can't take it cleanly because Huddy's right on his tail holding him. And in fact, it's the non-officiating umpire is going to pay a free kick for a hold. Hasn't indicated which way. Yeah, I think it's going to Aspley, so it's going to be the man Henderson. And he goes quickly into the middle to Joseph. Left footer. He's got Lonergan on the far side screaming for it. And he instead lowers the eyes to Arnold. Had a good second quarter, steps off his line, play on, got William on him.
Walber's down here as well. Aspley just with so many options. Then behind him, he's got 2 more.
And Lonergan's got about 3 players lined up and looked to go to any of them, but he didn't, because instead he went long. Dodge flew in from the side, might have been best actually. I get the 9 and 19 mixed up a bit. Kick inside forward 50. No mark taken, Yagmore to Brock Aston. Nice little kick out there. I think that was intentional, Thomas Matthews. You can hear the Aspley bench saying it was out. I did think it go out. The umpire caught it back very late though. But regardless, we're going to have a boundary throw in. Just the 3 boundary umpires today. Very straight boundary line here at the Zups Aspley Oval. Reminds me a bit of the Norwood Footy Ground in Adelaide.
Can't say I've been there, Riley, but I believe you.
Well, we had them take a game for Gather Round this year. They might have even had 2, I think. Might have been Freo on the Gold Coast and then Hawthorn and GWS. Very straight, narrow boundaries. Meanwhile, back here, just another stoppage. Plenty of those today. Contested footy in finals. Matthew was the sweeper. Snaps a kick forward. Good mark taken there. Good diving mark by Leighton Brown.
Just feel Redland-Victoria Point not helping themselves out, you know. The kicks, you know, the accuracy just hasn't been there. Just hasn't. They've been dropping a little bit low often.
Very rushed kicks going forward. Not a lot of composure.
No, and, you know, when you're up against a team like Aspley, who often hold that front space, the last thing you want to do is send it shorter than it should go.
Got another boundary throw in. Walbers gets front position, gets the hit out. Toy, hand pass over the top. Cut off by the Sharks. Scrappy kick forward, bounces over 3. Brown, twice in 2 minutes with the ball. Oh, Craven, well done there with Henderson to Walbers. Feigns a hand pass. Kicks it along the ground inside forward 50. And the Sharks do the same to rebound it. Good tackle there by Arnold. Hand pass now to Brock Aston. Taken down in a crunching Cohen Harker tackle. He has won that matchup today, Cohen Harker. He's asked questions of Brock Aston going both ways. A couple of hard tackles on him as well. Aspley bench pretty happy with that one. There's Harker winning the clearance. Scrappy kick. Ends up in the lap of a teammate, Crawley, I think it is. He's got no one on the man on the mark, I think. So Crawley just decides to go for goals. Got one today. The left footer sent it to the goal line. Mark taken. Well, you just have to question that play from the Sharks, don't you, Hannah? They just didn't have anyone manning the mark, didn't really know what was going on, and Crawley had all the time in the world to just eventually decide to have a shot on goal, and then they didn't really have anyone contesting the ball in the goal square, which means that Thomas Watson was able to take quite an easy mark, uncontested. In all honesty, could have let it go through. But it doesn't matter because he's got his third.
Yeah, it almost just looked like they just assumed that it had already gone in. It did. Huddy just gone to the bench there, so we'll have a change of ruck now. Again.
Looks like Lucas. No, it's going to be Lamana Pacquiao. Had a bright start to this game in the opening quarter when the Sharks were up and about. Remember, they did have a 13-point lead at one stage.
I think what Aspley have done particularly well is really know who their mainstays are, and they've shut them down, and that's, you know, the Lamana Pacquiao, that's the Hamilman, Brock Aston.
We can see Harkers just standing within a metre of Brock Aston, and I reckon as soon as this ball goes up, he's going to be body on.
Freeman just looks like he's copped something in the head. Umpire's playing on.
The ball inside forward 50 for the Sharks. Almost a dangerous, or kicking in danger. Collected nicely there on the bounce. Murdoch, Brock Aston, poking one inside forward 50 to Josh Brown. Takes the mark, uncontested, right up against the boundary line. Probably going to be given some free advice, I think, by some Aspley supporters. Kicked one today, 47 for the year. Should be looking to add number 48 here. Suspect you would think he would run around and snap. Does, strikes it not too bad, but it's across the face, so just a minor score. They've definitely had a few more opportunities this quarter, the Sharks have. Got the ball inside forward 50 quicker, which always makes it a bit harder to defend.
So again, Aspley just first on the foot. Stackelberg is ready. Into the pack.
Oh, Freeman hit. Almost caught the knee in the head for that contest.
Oh, sorry, not Arnold. Pepin. Great take.
Couple of behinds today, but he takes the initiative, plays on. Sends the kick up the half forward. Oh, good. A really good spoil by the Aspley player in the path of a teammate. Ball taken out of bounds. As much as Annabelle tried to keep it in play. I think that might have been best. Spoiled it in the path of a teammate. Unfortunately, didn't work out for the Hornets. But a bit of quick thinking for sure. Lamana Pacquiao and Freeman in the ruck. Front position vital in these contests. Freeman just shoves Lamana Pacquiao, takes the ball, then feeds a hand pass out to Lonergan. Kick will get to Crawley in the end. Settles on his preferred foot on the outside of the boot. Could have been a hold, not paid, then a tackle. So I have a stoppage 20 metres out from the Hornets' goal.
Hey, Freezer, grab Hendo for me. Can you grab Hendo and Bestie, please?
Stackelberg around it. Sharks have the numbers, kick is high. William does well to take the mark, outnumbered. Oh, and he went to kick the ball, taken down in a tackle. Umpire Bridges says no, in fact it's going to be a 50-metre penalty. Almost. Very smart play by Nicholas Dodge. Instead, giving away the 50. William wastes no time, inside forward 50, looking for Hamilman. Can't take the mark. Got the numbers to clean up. Joseph to Brown.
That's just that pressure again from Aspley. Those unusual fumbles that you wouldn't just expect.
2-on-1. Harker might have bumped into Brock Aston there. Just to let him know he's still got to keep working. Crawley. Short. Brown, I think it is. Might actually have been Craven, in fact. Up to half forward, inside forward 50 they go, and Stallard called his name plenty of times today. Takes the intercept mark. Quickly to Rolls. Stops, props, takes the mark. Did try to use the corridor through the second quarter a bit, the Sharks. Nearly worked for them a few times, and they seem to kind of abandon the tactic. Lamana Pacquiao pokes one forward of centre, but it's cut off. Well, it was cut off, and the ball got to ground level, and the Sharks went inside forward 50. Benson, Dawson. Oh, actually hit in the head there by Hamilman. Accidental, and then moves the ball quickly to Allen. Henderson doesn't have much to go to at the moment. Harker working hard, and takes the ball at his longest reach. Spears one up to the wing, and the ball is plucked by William Johnson. Nope, sorry, Thomas Matthews, 29, not 26. And up to half forward, and it's cut off by Allen. So Aspley content to just move the ball around by foot here. They've got a 56-point lead. We're close to halfway through this final term.
When Redland's defenders not really taking a one-on-one position, but also not really in a
Zoning
zone.
effectively. There's no way Freeman disposed of that correctly. And even though he had his back to the umpire, he was able to see that that was the case and awarded the Sharks a free kick. Aspley haven't, sorry Hannah, to go back to your point, Aspley haven't forced the zone well. And that's the way they've played. The Sharks have been one-on-one, but at the moment they're not really doing that.
No, look, they're looking a little bit slow. Just, hate to say, but they look tired. You know, I think Aspley are one of the fittest teams.
Benson to Horsfield. Fumbles at ground level and follows up, take it down and tackle. Holding the ball. Good tackle by Lockie Rayner.
Haven't seen a lot of
Brown, sorry.
Sorry, I was going to say we haven't seen a lot of Rayner today. He's been...
We haven't had to.
No, and that's credit to, you know, the halfbacks just doing their job so well that Lockie Rayner's just had a bit of a quiet one.
I think he'll be quite happy with that one, though, with his side up by the best part of 10 goals. Aspley just moving the ball around in triangles by foot here, not gaining much territory.
This is it, you know.
But now they'll go quickly, through Joseph.
Well, William was meant to mark him, and he just lets himself get 10 metres away again.
Lonergan to Craven.
No one is even close to these Hornets right now.
Pepin frees up Henderson, inside forward 50, and almost a lazy tackle there by Hamilton. Did affect it, though. Freeman bobbles one inside forward 50, and Stackelberg, I think it's going to be either Stackelberg or Watson, just takes the mark uncontested, 15 metres out, directly in front of goal. Stackelberg it is. That was just all too easy for the Hornets.
Good work, Jazzy.
So Stackelberg plays on. Yagmore charged at him. Doesn't make an effect because it's another goal to the Aspley Hornets. It's 3 for Connor Stackelberg now. They reach the ton. They're 16-8, 104. Redland-Victoria points 6-6-42.
Well, that'll be a disappointing scoreline, no doubt, for Redland-Victoria Point, and it seems that we're closer to matching up the Sharks against the Broadbeach Cats. They currently lead 84-77 over the Wilson Grange Gorillas. And Redland will get to host Broadbeach, so they'll have to drive up the highway if it is indeed them that make that preliminary final. But we were hoping for this quarter for Redland to take a little bit more into next week's game. I think, if anything, it'll be a new sheet. Because I don't know how many positives realistically they can take from this game. Riley, would you say there's many?
They're only losing this quarter by 5 points.
Okay, that's good.
And they broke level, just gets the kick away in the nick of time. Still got the ball at half forward, the Hornets. Best hasn't actually gotten up yet. I hope he's okay. Ball's flicking around the boundary line there. The Sharks. Williams just keeps it in play over the top, asks Yagmore to run onto it. He does, has a bounce. Left foot kick actually to the advantage of Daniel Joseph of Aspley. Wastes no time, sends it inside forward 50 mark, not taken. Almost a finger breaker, came in low and quick and hard. And then the hand pass by O'Sullivan was a turnover. The Sharks fought back to win the ball, and now they've got it at half back. I think the Sharks, while there aren't probably a heap of positives, they were 2 goals up at the 25-minute mark of this opening quarter. So their best is good enough. They just need to find a way to be able to produce that for 4 quarters next week. So Dawson, he must have had the best part of about a dozen intercept marks now today. I know the record in the AFL is 10, so if he's gone a dozen, it's more than what they do in the AFL. Obviously, the higher quality there, but still speaks of a remarkable feat.
Well, he has played AFL level. He was the player profile in the program, if anyone was at the ground today. Said that was the highlight of his career playing AFL football.
Yagmore tried to take a one-hander, dropped it. Good to see Best is okay. His kick is smothered. Annabelle, nice hand pass wide to Matthews. How much has he got to go to? He's got a 2-on-2. One of those being Hamilton will have to fly from about 3 deep. Reasonable effort to bring the ball to ground level. There's Rayner picking it up, taking the tackle. And then Horsfield went to turn him to the ground and then kind of, once he heard the whistle, I think it just helped him to the ground, if anything. Didn't land on his head, which is good. Just taking his time to get up here. Physio making her way out to see him now. Just needs a moment to catch his breath, hopefully. Players paused. Up to his feet now, and going to continue on, which is always good to see. Wobblers hit out to a teammate, wrapped up, 2-man tackle, ball up. I would love to know how many stoppages we've had today. Been a very contested game of footy at times. Good tackle from Toy. Sharks go forward. Shot on goal. In fact, I thought it was supposed to be a pass, but it's gone through for a minor score. I think that was Harrison Hunkin.
We mentioned how contested it's been, Riley, and I think another thing the Hornets have done well is to, you know, pinpoint when it's becoming too contested and moving away from their opposition, you know, going into that zone so that they can just play a little bit more freely.
Freeman not happy that he lost that one-on-one, and then Hardy just socketed the best part of 25 metres for a stoppage.
That probably says a lot about this day. I think I'm not really sure, you know, what impact that was supposed to have.
Just gained them some yardage. They had the chance for clean disposal. So Huddy, nice hand pass taken there by Stephen, but a rushed blind kick. Didn't know who he was kicking to, and unsurprisingly it's a turnover, and the Hornets had the ball at half back.
2-3 options, go long.
Freeman.
Take Freeman, just couldn't hold on to it.
Good spoil, and
Hamilton.
then a strong tackle. I think that's Hamilton. 2 nice little bits of defensive play from him there.
Yeah, look, I've felt like he's had a really good game despite the scoreline. I think he's one of the ones that's really kept fighting throughout this.
So Stephen with the clearance. Blast set up to half-back. Daniel Joseph with the spoil. His teammate gets a one-handed kick away, and then Craven, a nice hand pass to Brown, who's had a good final term, called his name a few times. 2 rucks competing for the ball. Works out for Lamana Paco instead as the crummer. Kicks in the direction of Hamilton, 2-on-1. Good defensive play by Rayner to limit his ability to take the mark. Rayner then just throws it onto the boot. He's got to be careful because Hamilton might take this mark. Doesn't go 15, so he just has to throw it on the boot straight away, and it gets out the back to a teammate who has a shot on goal, and he kicks it. So I think that's Joshua Brown gets his second of the day. 3rd goal for the Sharks this quarter. And again, a bit of forward pressure causes some rushed Hornets disposals and a turnover inside their defensive 50, and the Sharks are able to capitalise. They just need to remember these little things for next week. The Sharks, their forward pressure probably hasn't been as what they would have liked across the 4 quarters today, but at times when it's been at the better end of what they're capable of, it's resulted in some goals. So it's, if anything, just a lesson. And sometimes we forget the obvious things in football.
Absolutely, Riley. Speaking of next week, Grange already, well, it's seesawing over at Subaru Oval because Grange are now ahead by...
They must have kicked the last 2 or 3
7.
goals. What a seesawing contest that is. Batchelor for the Hornets loses the ball. It's taken off him to the Sharks inside forward 50. Hamilton, well spoiled by Rayner at ground level. Benson with 2, picks the ball up. Can't send it any closer to his goals. So Craven tried to go forward, but the boundary line beat him, so we'll have a ball in. Must only be a couple of minutes left at that game.
Couldn't be long, although they're on the same clock as we are. Just don't know if there's many stoppages over on their end.
Our first quarter was nearly 35 minutes today, which is exceptionally long considering there were only 6 goals. Ball's near the 50 here for the Sharks. Nice little dance around by Johnson inside forward 50, looking for Hamilman. Rayner affects a spoil, hand pass back to Hamilman. Tries to get around him, gets the kick away. No, he doesn't. Holding the ball, taken down in a 3-man tackle.
Well, we said Rayner hadn't had much of an impact before, and in a positive way, that the rest of his side were doing so well, but this last quarter in particular, you know, they've been able to find Hamilman, but Rayner's just nullified him completely.
Strong finish that he'll be happy with, as the Hornets will have a week off next week to freshen up for the grand final. A lot of players around the stoppage here, or around the ball. It means we get a stoppage. Umpire throws it up straight away. Campbell Aston tried hard all day. Another stoppage.
So not long to go now until the Aspley Hornets secure their spot in the grand final of the QAFL.
Umpire calls push in the back. Is that Toy on the ground? Reese Toy? Yes, it is. Got the ball, gonna have a free kick. Just backward of centre wing. Play on. Inboard to Lonergan. Shadows starting to envelope the ground. Long shadows of the players. No one's near Lonergan, so he runs around, plays on. Freeman can't take the mark, but follows up at ground level. Chucks in a fend, but then taken to ground. It's a great tackle from Peter Yagmore, holding the ball. Quite undersized on the utility player, but didn't take no for an answer. Yagmore is kicking in the middle of the ground, finds Hunkin. Switches the ball a long way over here out to Adrian Williams, will then go to Matthews. Move the ball from one side to the other without gaining any ground though, the Sharks. So just Matthews will put it back to Williams. Switch it across to Stallard. And then he's got Yagmore short, or the longer option is Campbell Aston. And that's where it goes. Aspley content to allow the Sharks to do so. The quick kick finds a teammate, or was to a teammate who was free, but good display by Lonergan, who's had a great final quarter, and his teammate, I think that might be Cohen Harker. Hard to tell from this far side of the ground. Gets a free kick for holding the ball. So Hannah, as we look toward, as we enter the final moments of this match, who are your top players for today's victors?
Yeah, look, I think for today, but you know, across the field entirely, I think one point, I guess, for me would be Jasper Craven. I think he's had a really great impact. He's just that support player, that sweeping player that's always there when you need him, and is very accurate with his disposals. Ooh, it's sort of hard between Freeman and Walbers for me. I mean, they've both had an awesome impact, I think. Oh, beautiful take there. Well, Ashley just aren't slowing down. Connor Stackelberg, he's got 3 already. Does he make it 4? Just minutes to go now. And he's going to go for this one.
Long kick is required. He's directly in front of goal. Runs around. Distance not a problem. Accuracy is to the left, minus score. 3 goals, 2 today for Connor Stackelberg.
Yeah, he's still had a really great effort today. 3 goals, not bad for a major semi-final. But, sorry, back to my 2. I think, you know, between Freeman, he's probably get the 2 for me. I think he's had a great impact and, you know, 2 goals to his name as well. Sorry, 3 goals to his name. And the ruck work as well. He's provided a lot of flexibility.
Inside forward 50 now, Josh Brown. Ball sits up for him, and then he just puts it in the path of Hamilman to take the mark. So the league leading goal kicker's got 2 today, 92 goals for the year. If he's successful here, this will be his 3rd and 93rd. Runs around, snaps, and he's gold. Nice finish from Matt Hamilton. They've had a strong final quarter, Redland-Victoria Point. They've kicked, I think that's their 4th goal now, but unfortunately for them, it's not going to have an impact on this final result. Still trailing by 50 points. But some positive signs. As I said, they're their first, well, they had a really good 10-minute, 15-minute patch in the first quarter, and then I think, Hannah, you've actually got the final scores from Subaru Oval.
Certainly do. So as we watch the final last minutes of this game, where it appears the Sharks will be back with us next week, we officially know who they'll be facing off against, and in a possible shock to the competition, Wilston Grange have finished with a 6-point win over the Broadbeach Cats. So Broadbeach on home turf, well, their season has come to an end. I'm sure that game will be just brilliant if you go and watch the replay. We, of course, had Kane Brown and Chris Yend on the team there calling that one.
That's consecutive 6-point wins for Wilston Grange, if I'm not mistaken. I believe they defeated Surfers Paradise by 6 points last week, so they've had to go down twice, and that confirms it. Aspley have made the QAFL Grand Final. They've run out dominant winners today over Redland-Victoria Point Sharks. Jonathan Freeman has 3, the chance to add to his tally. And his kick is good. He likes it. Great note for them to go, for the Hornets to go into the grand final. Back-to-back grand final appearances. They were premiers last year. And you would think at this very moment they are favourites to go back-to-back.
Well, that secures my 2 points for Freeman. But for the 3 for me is Liam Dawson. I think he was sensational in the halfback position. He's just a rock there, flying constantly. The amount of intercept marks, almost uncountable. I lost count anyway. He played a huge impact. Riley, who were your 3 best yourself?
Well, I actually had Jonathan Freeman as probably my best on ground. It'd be hard to go past the amount of inside work that Brandon Batchelor had to do, and then Liam Dawson must have had the best part of a dozen intercept marks. So we see the players saying good game and shaking hands after that, and fantastic to see so many young boys and girls of Aspley on the ground celebrating their home side, celebrating their side's appearance or victory today, and confirmation that they'll be playing in the grand final in a fortnight's time.
But before that, next week, the preliminary final, last shot to make the grand final. Redland-Victoria Point, they'll be back at it again, coming up against the Wilson Grange Gorillas. Only 1 spot left in the grand final. Aspley secured theirs. Don't forget that's September 16 at Giffen Park, and next week will be on Redland-Victoria turf. Sharks home. Well, we'll be back for next week. Don't forget you can catch the replay of the other semi-final, the minor semi-final between Broadbeach and Wilson Grange, to check out how all that one went down. But for the time being, Riley, thank you so much for being here today. It's been sensational.
Thank you very much, Hannah. So congratulations to Aspley. They're into the grand final, as you've said, Hannah, Redland-Victoria Point. A lot of hard work to do this week before they try and secure their spot at home next week in the grand final. But until then, take care and thank you for joining us this afternoon.